This is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. For work at your hunting camp or a job site, you need a utility vehicle you can depend on. The Kubota Sidekick from Capital Tractor, power to haul and top speeds of 40 miles per hour. Kubota and Capital Tractor in Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
1819 News.
Governor Ivey defends the commissioner of the Alabama Department of Human Resources, which is Nancy Buckner. This comes after an open letter was written by current and former DHR employees. In the letter, they accuse Buckner of abuse of power, incompetence, nepotism, and leading through intimidation tactics. The governor's office says that the 4-page letter was never given directly to them or the governor, and Ivey continued to commend Buckner for her dedicated career within the DHR. The letter was initiated by Lee Marshall, who is the founder of a foster care organization called Kids to Love. There are also several federal lawsuits filed against both the DHR and the Alabama School Superintendent, Dr. Eric Mackey, when it comes to abuse and overlooking children within the foster care system. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Rescue Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
David Cole turned himself into the Madison County Jail on Wednesday to start serving his sentence for voter fraud. Cole was the District 10 representative within the Alabama legislature when he was charged this past August for voting multiple times in unauthorized locations and making false claims of his residence being within the district that he represented. Cole will serve 60 days in jail as part of his split sentence, and that includes 3 years probation. A special election date to fill the District 10 seat will be held this coming March. The primary will be December 12th of this year. The Valiant Cross Academy out of Montgomery has made it to the next round. When it comes to the YAS Prize, Valiant Cross is now one out of 33 schools being considered for a $1 million prize and national honor. Valiant Cross Academy is a grade 6 through 12 boys-only Christian school with 200 enrolled. It launched in 2015. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
What'll it be, Joe?
Coffee and apple pie. Whoa, Madge, what was that?
The lights? Oh, they always dim when the dishwasher turns on.
You should call Crosby Electric.
You think?
Overloaded circuits at your business can be dangerous. The experts at Crosby Electric can upgrade your electrical service to safely handle the load. And they can add receptacles where needed to eliminate overuse of extension cords.
Madge, I'd like to pay you. The problem is it's so dark in here I can't read my bill.
No, the problem is you're cheap.
Well, that's a problem too.
Effective, attractive lighting is essential for any business. Crosby Electric can help with a new lighting scheme that will give your business a fresh, exciting look. And they can recommend outdoor lighting for greater safety and security.
That'll be $4.50 for the coffee and pie, Joe.
Well, don't I get anything for recommending Crosby Electric?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Don't put off essential electrical upgrades for your business. Call 272-2085 or visit crosbyelectric.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
I like to do it at night when people aren't around.
Stop playing with it.
This afternoon, we've seen a whole lot of table banging.
If you get a cough, please leave the room.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
There are those that think I'm a very stable genius.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host,
Joey Clark.
And I'm going to stop messing around with my buttons because we got a serious guest here. But first, let's bring in Sky Mosley. And Eddie's running a little late, but how you doing today, Sky?
All right, Joey. It's good to be here. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, it is a beautiful day.
It's a busy day, but it's beautiful.
Oh, busy indeed. There's plenty of news to get to with the speaker's race and, of course, what's happening in Israel. And I think the ground invasion is imminent of Gaza. Plenty to get to here. But we have a candidate here in the studio, continuing our conversations as we get closer and closer to elections. We have Thomas Govan. He is running for Court of Criminal Appeals. How you doing today, sir?
Good morning, Joey. Very good, and glad to be here, and thanks for allowing me to come on and talk with you all this morning.
Yeah, good to have you here. So let's just do the Thomas 101.
Sure.
For folks who don't know you, tell us about yourself.
Sure, yes. Well, so I'm running for the Court of Criminal Appeals. I'm from right here in Montgomery. I'm a prosecutor at the Attorney General's office, spent my entire career in public service as a prosecutor. I've done a little bit of everything on the criminal spectrum. I've tried cases. I'm currently the chief of the Criminal Trials Division in an Attorney General Steve Marshall's office. I was previously the chief of the Capital Litigation Division, handled death penalty cases on appeal. So I've done both trial and appellate prosecution, and now I just really feel called to seek a position and to serve the people of Alabama on the Court of Criminal Appeals. I'm running for an open seat in March of 2024. And I really feel passionately about this. I think we need conservative leaders to stand up at all levels of state and federal government. And I think this is where I can serve based on my background and wanting to serve the people of Alabama on a court that is really important to the people of Alabama. When I'm in the state, when I'm campaigning, people ask me, well, what is the Court of Criminal Appeals? But it's the appellate court that probably has the biggest caseload of any of our appellate courts, because all the criminal cases that are where a conviction and a sentence occurs gets appealed to this court. So really important all around the state. Victims of crime, their cases are going to be heard in that court. And public safety is one of the most important things right now that people need, and we need as a state for so many different reasons.
Now, do you think there's a special advantage being a prosecutor with the experience you have gives you becoming a judge, especially because I've heard that often the Court of Criminal Appeals will get something where maybe the lower court didn't follow the process correctly, or sometimes it can be esoteric in that regard. But is it having tried cases and prosecuted people, what advantage do you think that gives you as a judge?
Well, absolutely. I mean, for many, yes, it does, and for many different reasons. I mean, number one, I've been down in the trenches and seen how to try a case and how things occur in the trial court level. So sometimes when on the appeals court, you're not in front of the trial anymore. You're reading a record that happened maybe months, sometimes years before, and to know how a hearing on a motion went or have conducted a closing argument, to know how some of those split-second decisions are made, but also you got to also apply the law correctly, and to have that kind of balance of both knowing the law from my experience as an appellate prosecutor, but being in the trenches can give you, I think, an advantage and really serve the people of Alabama well. And also as a prosecutor, look, I mean, our job is to do justice. It's not just to get convictions; it's to do justice, and that kind of mentality is what we need as Alabamians on all of our courts, but especially one that's devoted to the criminal justice system.
Now, I got to ask about, say, the abuse of prosecutions. I don't think this will become before y'all's court. And today's, by the way, like Judge Day, folks. We have Chris McCool coming on later. I'm going to ask him the same thing. But when you look at what's going on with Donald Trump and some of these cases that are being brought, well, in particular, certain DAs, like I look at the Georgia case there in Fulton County, given your background and your sense of the law, what do you make of this stuff?
Well, that's a good question, and I'll answer as a prosecutor, as a fellow prosecutor. Maybe not. You got to be careful sometimes, a judicial candidate, but I look for. You have to have confidence, as it's such an important power that you have as a prosecutor to enforce the law, and you need to make sure we have confidence in those institutions. And I look for a lot of kind of red flags and things, like I would in any case, where you look at some of the cases where you're indicting charges that occurred many, many years ago, after several years have passed from an election, with an election coming up. Those are just kind of red flags I think any prosecutor would be concerned about. And, I think from a prosecutor perspective, those are some things that would immediately kind of launch some red flags. I will obviously let the case play out, and I hope justice is done. But there are some red flags in things that from sitting from afar, not knowing all the facts, that I would be concerned about if I were a prosecutor.
Yeah, it is a weird time, and I bring that up because in a more general sense, I worry that people are losing faith in the rule of law and the justice system. And I think the way you keep people's faith is when you have judges or prosecutors, folks working in the AG's office that are locally doing the right thing.
Right.
It can keep folks from completely throwing the baby out with the bathwater, even if they don't like Washington D.C. or any other venue that's going on.
No, you're right, and that's one of the good things that I'm so thankful for in my role now as a chief of the Criminal Trials Division. We get to go around the state working with district attorneys and law enforcement all around the state. We do have great DAs all around the state, hard-working prosecutors, law enforcement that. You look at some of the noise and questionable cases that are around the state. You just referenced a few. We've got good folks in our state who care and have common sense that we need to tackle violent crime and go after things that are affecting people day in and day out around our state, whether that's in Birmingham, in Mobile, Montgomery, rural Alabama. And we've got good folks who are committed to that. It's not just a job. It's really a calling and a passion to make sure that public safety is enforced. And so that's I think Alabamans, we can be encouraged by that fact, and also take heart in what we've got. But we also need to stay vigilant to make sure that we don't have things that are happening around the country, both in judicial systems around the country and also prosecutors kind of creep into Alabama. We need to continue to uphold conservative values, a strict view of the Constitution, and a respect for the rule of law.
Good folks, we're talking to Thomas Govan, who's running for the Court of Criminal Appeals. And it's actually Judge McCool's vacating that spot, right?
That's right, yes.
So now we'll get into kind of how the court operates for folks who don't know,
Sure.
Get more into detail about what the job is exactly. But first, let's do a little more personal bio. You married?
I'm married, yes.
Kids?
Yes, I've got 4 kids. All school. Oldest one is going to be 13 in December. Oldest 2 are girls, and youngest 2 are boys. So
that's awesome.
We've got a full household right now. But it's a good thing. We're very blessed.
Yeah, it changes my perspective. I just became an uncle, and I know that's not the same thing as being a father. But seeing my brother go through it, the first of our generation, it changes perspective.
No doubt.
A certain degree. And when did you? It could have been early, or it could have been a more recent thing. When did you know? I think I want to be a judge. I want to be on that side of a court.
Sure, and really, all the way back, really in law school, I just is really kind of formally kind of found my love of the law, and I knew I wanted to be a prosecutor. I knew I could serve that way. That's the way I'm wired. I want to seek justice for victims of crime. I want to follow the rule of law, and as I developed kind of my career, both doing appellate work, I had a chance to argue a case in the U.S. Supreme Court in 2018. I've done trial work too, and I really saw this is where I can serve the people of Alabama. I've been doing it as a prosecutor my entire career. Now I believe there's an opportunity for me to serve on the Court of Criminal Appeals.
And would you say you're a lifelong Republican?
Oh yes, very very much so. I mean, back to the. I just remember as a kid during the Reagan eras of the 80s, but I was chairman of the College Republicans at the University of Alabama, and helped with campaigns even then as a college student, and been a committed Republican from the very beginning. So for me in the formative years, I just remember looking back, as a kind of a child during the Clinton impeachment time frame. I just remember feeling that there was something wrong here, and that really, even as a young kid, got me energized in politics and respect for the application of our laws. And I thought our laws back then were kind of trampled on, and that really motivated me to study and have a desire to look into politics, more specifically to be a lawyer, and try to right some of the wrongs that I saw just kind of growing up, and it's stuck with me ever since.
Now, speaking of things that stick with you, in your career as a prosecutor, is there a particular case that really sticks in your mind where either it was a tough case to try, or maybe just for the facts of the case are memorable in a certain way, maybe good or bad? I don't want to characterize it too much. Is there something in your career that really sticks out as a case that you're never going to forget?
Sure. Well, there's many of them actually, and I'll focus on the one that I argued in the Supreme Court. It was a police officer out of Mobile who was murdered by Vernon Madison was the name of the defendant back in 1985, and it was just a horrific case where it was a domestic dispute, and the officer just happened to be in the area and came up and was trying to break up the domestic dispute, and everyone thought that the defendant had left the scene, but he snuck up back behind the officer and shot him twice in the head at point-blank range. Just a gruesome case. And that case we argued in 2018. It took over 30 years to get from that point, from the initial crime to arguing the case in the Supreme Court. And that case was, so many cases I worked on are just horrific facts, and that was certainly horrific facts. And just to be able to interact, one of the granddaughters of the victim was in the courtroom in Washington, D.C. when I argued that case, and to have that reality, it's striking and it's horrific, but it provides me as a prosecutor motivation to get up every single day and try to seek justice in the cases that I'm working on.
Well, and now I'm curious, why would something like that take 30 years?
Well, that's bingo. That's
Right.
a big question. There were several. The case had been reversed a couple times by the appellate courts, and it just took a long time and to matriculate up to the final stage of those processes. Not necessarily having anything to do with our Alabama courts, but I think in some cases, death penalty cases take, unfortunately, for victims, a long time, and that's a problem. Not any reason we shouldn't be any less in enforcing those as a prosecutor. In fact, there was some legislation that got passed a couple years ago to try to make the post-conviction process more efficient in capital cases, which is a good thing for everyone,
right?
For justice, especially for the victims, but even for the defendant. Everyone benefits from a faster judicial system, and that's kind of where I think I might be able to serve. Is I have done that work. I can step into the Court of Criminal Appeals right off the bat. I've done appellate work. I've done criminal work in a court with a heavy caseload. At least I can ensure that I will give maximum effort and have the experience and the energy to really move those cases along and contribute to a court that does good work already.
Well, and I love that. This is a little bit of a silly question, but how old were you in 1985?
Well, I was 3 years old.
That's what's nuts, is that happens, that awful thing happens all the way then, and it takes somebody who was born 3 years before that event to actually argue it in front of the court.
No, you're right, and it is kind of, it's crazy. There was another case I worked on in North Alabama that it took like 6 or 7 years of litigation. The defendant was ultimately executed, but the crime occurred in 1982, and we were trying to go back and because of that defendant had filed a lot of lawsuits and a lot of challenges, and courts had allowed it.
Right. And
so we were struggling to go back and find witnesses 30 years later to testify at hearings, and again, that's not good. And we need to work, the entire justice system needs to work more efficiently. And we've got good people who do that. I think sometimes the opponents sometimes like to, that's a technique to draw things out. But to me, as a prosecutor, I'm committed to trying to ensure justice for everyone, and that's in every single person in Alabama's interest to have efficient justice.
Again, folks, talking to Thomas Govan. I'm saying that right?
Yes,
okay,
yes,
Thomas Govan.
Absolutely.
And he's running for Court of Criminal Appeals. Now, you mentioned it quickly in passing, but for folks who don't know, like the role of the Court of Criminal Appeals in our current system, what's the job essentially you're seeking?
Sure, that's a great quick question. So the Court of Criminal Appeals, it's an appellate court. There are 5 judges on the court. So anytime there is, no matter what county throughout Alabama, if there's a conviction and there's an appeal or any type of appellate issue, it would go up automatically to the Court of Criminal Appeals. So it's the court in between the trial court level and the Alabama Supreme Court. So you can think about all the criminal cases that are around the state. There's a lot of cases. So they would go up there. There's a direct review there in the Court of Criminal Appeals. They would also review post-conviction petitions that are filed. So there's a lot of work to be done. You're not in front of a trial court anymore. You're not in front of a jury. You're reviewing the documents that are filed, appellate briefs, reviewing the record, and determining what legal issues have been raised and whether there's any violations of our Alabama Constitution, U.S. Constitution, or violation of our criminal code or rules of evidence. So a lot of work. It's a lot of reading and writing, and it's a lot of diving into the record and making sure every page is looked at and reviewed to ensure that, hey, when a sentence is carried out, like a serious sentence like the death penalty, that it's given a thorough look by the court and make sure that justice is carried out.
Now, one question, and this is more something the legislature and a governor will need to do. But when you're in the profession and you're seeking the job of judgeship. So when I look at the state, I see a big backlog of cases, criminal and civil. Is there a need for more circuits, more judges, just in general, so we don't have this backlog? And you can, even with a bunch of appeals that people have a right to, you can have a bit swifter system.
Sure. Well, and that's a very timely question. If you asked me as a prosecutor a couple of years ago, I would have said definitely yes. Now the situation is, has been changed a little bit because there has been some legislative changes, that there have been some newly created judicial seats.
Okay.
So I think, I'm sure if you'd ask everyone, every level of the court system needs more resources. And that is a job for the legislature to make those decisions. And I think I want to see how some of those additions help out. And I think the job of a conscientious judge is maybe provide that data and real world experience to the legislature to let them know, because you're right, that they will make that decision. And that's also, where us as citizens can get involved. We sometimes complain a little bit, but that's where we can go to our legislator and say, look, it's taken me through no fault of my own, and no one's real fault, a year to go to court. We need more resources, and that's where we can, as citizens, affect that and try to find where the resources are allocated to really provide justice for everybody.
Well, and I'm very much in the camp, legally speaking, of, I think, much more the common law tradition. I kind of like that we've developed these rules over time. It's not some folks get elected and decide all sorts of brand new rules. I get the role of the legislature. But I feel like we, in government, even here in great red state Alabama, we sometimes think government has to do all these other things to solve societal ills. And if we just did the blocking and tackling of the judiciary and enforcing the laws, the basic rules, we would actually have really good outcome.
No, I completely agree. In the legal world, there's a kind of a theory, first principles. Go back to your constitutional principles, go back to the original meaning of text, and that applies just in government across the board, that government, all three branches, go back to the basic fundamentals of what you need to be doing, protecting public safety, ensuring individual rights are protected as Americans, a free economy. That's just general good level government, and so that first principles, legal principles of what the Constitution, originally intended and was written, that can apply to any level of government.
Now, at this level, the Court of Criminal Appeals, I guess my question is your judicial philosophy. Do these arguments of textualism, originalism, or other aspects come up at that level? And if you are partial to a particular point of view on that, what is yours?
Sure. Well, I'm an originalist. I'd be a Scalia disciple when it comes to the original meaning and a strict view of the Constitution. I was actually reading an article today about the viewpoint that the Constitution is a living document. No, we have defined constitutional ingrained Bill of Rights, ingrained rights, and there's a defined look, and judges are not there to try to expand that. That's for the legislature. So no, I'd be a strict textualist, a strict originalist, and I think, that's the way that the constitutional system. That's how judges should be. The development of an exchange of ideas, that's the legislature, and the executive enforces that, and we need judges to be that, kind of like the goalpost of the football field.
Right.
The judiciary is the goalpost. And on the football field is where the action takes place with the legislature and other forms of government. So, but it does come up in the Court of Criminal Appeals some. Granted, you're going to be, as a good rule of law judge, most of the time you're going to be following the rules that have been set up by the Alabama Supreme Court or the U.S. Supreme Court. But occasionally there'll be an issue of first impression where, there's some legal issue that's never come up before, and that's where you'd be called upon to apply those principles and look at what the original meaning of the statute or the original meaning of the Constitution to try to craft strictly as you can what that would be. And that's what a good rule of law, consistent application of our laws, that's what a good conservative rule of law judge would do.
Well, and we're pretty much out of time here, but I just wanted to say, and I've been telling others who are running for similar offices, I appreciate interview y'all running for judgeships, for being a justice even on the Supreme Court, because it is different than interviewing other candidates. I'll put it that way. Well, and it reflects what you just said. The role of a judge is very different than, say, a state senator or a U.S. senator. And I always end up appreciating these conversations. They seem to be more about the philosophy and the nuts and bolts of things.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I really appreciate it. We've had a fantastic campaign, recently endorsed by the Alpha Farm Pack. Thomas Govan for Alabama is our Facebook and Instagram account. We'd love to have everybody follow us along. And thank you, Joe, for the opportunity to come and visit here. And I just ask everybody to remember to go with Govan for the Court of Criminal Appeals on March 5th of 2024.
Well, appreciate your time, Thomas.
Thanks so much, Joey.
More news and views in the afternoon. Well, after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Next contestant.
Honey, you look confused. What's wrong?
I'm having a hard time remembering to take my medications like I'm supposed to. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to worry you.
I'm glad you told me, because I heard that Adams Drugs has a medicine on time service that will package your monthly medications and make them easier to manage. Our neighbors, Bill and Leslie, mentioned the other day that they use Adams and how they have made it so easy for them to manage their medications.
Do you think we can call Adams Drugs or go by there and see if they can help me? I don't want to get to the point where you have to put me into an assisted living home.
Why don't you get your medications together right now, and let's go down to Adams and talk to the pharmacist.
How much does the medicine on time service cost?
I asked Bill that same question, and he told me it's a free service for Adams customers.
Free? Wow, I'm feeling really good about this already. Let me grab my meds list.
Call Adams Drugs Medicine on Time for your pharmacist consultation. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for more information on our Medicine on Time packaging service.
Want even more excitement on game day? It's time to get on Prize Picks, the best way to win big on fantasy sports. Here's how it works. Just pick 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their stats. If you get them right, you could win up to 25 times your cash. It's quick and easy to make your picks, and with fast and safe deposits and withdrawals, Prize Picks is the place to play this season. Prize Picks has awesome weekly promotions, and they're the only daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, keeping you in the game even if one of your players goes down. Sweat it out, watch your entry update in real time, and continue the fun by making picks on second half and fourth quarter stats. Take your game day experience to the next level with Prize Picks. And right now, you go to prizepicks.com/primetime and use code PRIMETIME. Prize Picks is matching your first deposit up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/primetime with code PRIMETIME for a 100% deposit match. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for more details.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Oh, we got the full crew here today. How you gentlemen doing?
The trifecta of doom.
Better
now that you can see me.
Yeah, you're good, Eddie.
All right, good deal.
And appreciate Thomas Govang stopping by.
Pretty good.
I always, like I was telling him, I enjoy interviewing judges. It's a slightly different type of interview than your normal political candidates out there.
Do you feel like you're laying groundwork for perhaps seeing them in the future?
See them in the future.
Like, coming before them
As in
with
calling
a
him
case,
Your Honor?
perhaps?
I'm not looking for any special privileges. Well, with the exception of people are asking, what's your show like? I'm like, well, I threaten to hurt my sidekick best friend all the time. I've asked for waivers from the sheriff, from the chief of police, and from the attorney general of this great state.
Only one of them stood up for me.
So, yeah, I'm not really looking out for me, like if I'd commit some other heinous sin or crime. But if I smack you something good and you take me to court, I definitely want that special
I'm
look.
just saying, Joey, as a man of your age, younger,
Yeah.
I would go ahead and start meeting these guys and get to know them on a personal basis.
Well, people actually don't know I'm 40.
40. Is that what we're doing now? 40.
I'm 40.
Man.
That's it.
I'm a man.
It's official.
I don't see any gray come. Well, I do see a
Yeah,
little gray.
I know.
Yeah, I got my hair cut and I see grays now. That's disturbing.
No, and you're like 65? You look great.
I do look great for 65.
You look
I
great.
agree with that. I do look good
And
for
Scott,
65.
you're like in your late 70s, right? Like, you look fantastic.
Almost 80.
It's working out and going to the gym.
Yeah.
It helps.
clean
Pays
living,
off.
man. That's what it is.
Clean living.
Let's see who's on line one here. You're on there. Who's this?
Hello,
Yes? Who's this?
Soldier Boy.
Hey, Soldier Boy, how
What's
you
up
doing?
with you, buddy?
Hey, Eddie, are you 65, really?
I wish. I'd be retired if I was 65.
Keep going with the bit, man. Don't give it
I
up.
can't. I've got AARP applications in. I don't want anybody to get confused.
No, that's the trick. Add 5-10 years to your actual age when people ask you how old you are, and they'll be like, you look great.
That was cool when I was 15 and I was trying to buy beer. But as an older gentleman,
And then there are some amongst us, like Arn Anderson. Remember that wrestler?
Yes.
He's looked 45 his whole
double
life.
A.
Yeah.
I think when he
That's
was
a double A,
13, he
baby.
looked 45.
Four horsemen.
Yeah, there's some guys like that. They look like a 45-year-old uncle from the time they're 16. It's
Good
hilarious.
friends to have when you're underage and
Hey,
trying to buy
gentlemen.
beer.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Please.
Sure.
Now, I want it to be a cumulative effort, okay?
All right.
Oh, okay.
So anybody jump in with the first answer. Has there been any local, state, or governmental, United States-wise, Muslim groups that come out and verbally go against what Hamas did, come out and said that anything negative?
Against Hamas? Not that I know of.
I haven't heard it.
So none of the
Well, I'm
mosques
sure the
in
Sufi
local area-
Muslims, those mystics, are against it.
So the moderate Muslims have not chimed in yet, I suppose.
They haven't chimed in yet, so that means if you don't condemn, you what?
Condone.
Condone.
That's the
okay, I just
word.
want to make sure. And the father proved that. Jordan doesn't want those individuals in because he knows what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't have any sympathy for the Palestinians, okay? Reason why? You've condoned them. You haven't chased them out. You haven't done anything. You let them live in your neighborhood right next door to you. You've done nothing. If you don't, do you see what I'm saying?
I do,
They
but
use
I
you for-
I don't
they
think
use
it's
you for a
just.
shield.
I think, though, it is a lot of practical concerns. Like, for instance, look at the King of Jordan. I think he's very worried if those millions of people end up in Jordan, especially the more radical elements, he's going to be overthrown. The Saudis feel the same way. A lot of these monarchs feel that same way.
Well, it's happened before.
And what's up with that lady? Why isn't she censored up there in Congress? What's her name? Talib
Habib?
Habibi?
Yep.
Talib
I
Habibi?
wish I knew.
Well, she might be censored because it looks like good old nerd, big gavel Mick Henry is going to be the interim speaker.
Called it.
No Jim Jordan. It's
Nope.
going to be the nerd from North Carolina.
Can she be? She was down there yesterday when those people came in there, and was it on the Capitol and did the protesting inside and got arrested? Yeah, that's what I called it.
It is. Call it what it is.
I want the FBI to put them in jail in solitary confinement.
Yeah. We need to ruin their lives.
Ruin their lives.
Yep.
Destroy them financially.
This thing never happens again. Everybody must
Make
be
sure-
taught a lesson.
That's it, Eddie. That is correct. Nobody said that word except Fox on it. Waters said it. It's a January 6th insurrection.
Yeah. I heard it on a
Is
gambling
there
show
any
last night.
difference?
No,
Tell me
there's
what
not.
the difference is, guys.
The difference is the
Well,
participants. That's
one
the
was
difference.
one was on the day of the certification of the election.
But if it's a holy house, it shouldn't matter. What day?
What's
Yeah,
the law
but
say?
if you
One
invade
day.
if you invade a
Interrupt.
Catholic church on like some random Tuesday, then it's not. It's going to be different than if you did it on Easter Sunday.
It shouldn't. Murder is murder, right? Doesn't matter. So a broken law.
Wait, there are different degrees of murder. I was just talking to a judge. Don't question me.
Oh, see,
Brown knows the judge.
that's the good point about it is that Jordan
I like
doesn't
the
want those radicals Muslims in there.
Nobody wants them because all they have been is a terrorist organization for thus long.
Yeah, but Talib
All they'll
wants them
ever
over
be is
here.
that. Well, let's send her back, man. I ain't got a problem with giving her a first-class ticket.
And who's
back.
that one that's been living and married her own brother? What the hell's up with her? Oh God.
Elon Omar.
Omar, that's the one. Man, I saw a thing on her. You know, the whole thing. She divorced the dude so she could marry her brother, and then divorced her brother. I mean,
So she could get him in the country, right?
Right,
Legally.
but that's okay, right? And it's so okay. We elected her to Congress, correct? Wow.
Sure.
I'd
We
love
did?
to talk to her
Well,
constituents.
this guy.
Hey, who's her constituents?
Is it Minnesota?
Yeah, it's
Which
part
is
of.
even more
I think it's the
shocking to me.
Minneapolis area. But I
Isn't-
mean, God
isn't
bless
that the-
America. North Georgia can elect
wait a minute.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, and St.
Wait
Paul,
a minute,
Minneapolis
wait a
can elect Elon Omar. All right.
Is that where there's 80,000 Somalians that were brought in by Barack Obama in that little area?
Yeah, speaking of colonization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't Barack Obama send about 80,000 Somalians and put them in one area so he could control the vote of that house?
Well, isn't Nikki Haley offering to do the same thing with Palestinians right now?
I still think they need to go to Canada.
Let me ask you a
They don't
question.
want 'em
Did
either.
Nikki Haley just shoot herself in her foot?
No, unfortunately, no.
What?
She'll be protected by all these people, establishment people that want her to stay in.
Oh my God, she's another rhino then.
She's
in disguise.
Horrible.
Oh,
Hey, I
okay.
love my
Nice
I love my boy. What's his, Mr. Salami? What's his name?
Ramaswamy.
Saw him again on Tucker this morning.
Yeah, it was great.
It was good.
I love what he said when he got up there and he said, "You're all bought and paid for."
Yeah, and they
Did you
yelp
see
like
them
a
get
hurt
mad
dog
and
when you
defend?
say that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, you know what?
close
You know what the
to
problem
Yeah.
is? You know what? He said the truth.
Right.
That's
Right.
what bothers
They didn't want to hear that. So he said something that Trump would have done the same thing. You got small hands. You're weak. Jeb, we know you're paid for all the money. That
Oh yeah, we know you're a real tough guy, Jeb. We know. All right, sure. You're a real tough guy.
And what-
I like the
what
energy
Rubio-
tonight. He's trying to do more energy, folks.
Low
He's
energy. And what he said about Rubio, got small hands.
No, I think my favorite line from Trump is about Jeb Bush. Jeb is a mess. Jeb is a mistake.
Oh, yes.
Jeb is a big fat waste. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Hey,
Right
was
off the
that some of the
playground,
best-
man.
Hey, was that some of the best TV you've ever seen on television?
It is.
Sure.
Going back and watching it, it's still funny. It's like
it's
even
still funny.
even Rand Paul, like Trump is asked about something like in the Middle East, and then he goes, "First off, Rand Paul shouldn't even be on the stage." And it's like, what? And because Rand Paul gets called on, he responds like, I think Mr. Trump's sophomore humor is probably not the right thing, making fun of people's looks and not knowing what the nuclear triad is. And they go back to Trump. He goes, I never made fun of his looks, and trust me, there's a lot there. I never made fun. Oh man, his sense of humor is great.
I got that recorded on my DVR when it happened. When it was on television. And every time I feel sad and depressed about this country, I sit back and my girlfriend looks at me. What are you going to watch? I said, I'm going to watch the debates.
And he hit me on my hands.
Right.
And look at my hands.
Look at
I
my
guarantee you,
hands.
folks, there's no problem. And
He
then
was so
later
quick
that
on
night,
it.
he literally put his meat on the table. He goes, these are Trump steaks. Trump wine. Like he's sitting there with a bunch of steaks on a table behind
Yep.
him. And I'm like, what is this guy?
Always be closing, baby.
Yeah.
And so, Eddie,
Yes, sir.
are we going to have Marines on the ground?
Where?
Are they just another public relations thing like those aircraft carriers?
Yeah, they'll be over there directing traffic. How about that?
That would be like.
Well,
I'll just have to watch Black Hawk Down again.
It's also
Can I
easier to
engage
do a
after
special.
UN if I can.
Yeah.
Remember, you asked the UN, the United, can we engage? Are they firing at you? No. Well, don't fire.
Right.
They got guns pointed at you from the ground. Remember, he was walking into the market. The little kid had a AK-47 with a couple of rounds of strapped on his back.
Yep.
Bullets. It's just ridiculous. But if the Marines get in there, I think the only thing they're going to do is back up the Israelis. They're not going to be in the front line.
Those boats that are going over there, they ain't empty.
Yeah.
They're not empty boats that are going over.
Well, and it's easy to do a special forces
Hmm?
operation from that carrier group.
There's a lot of people
Well,
in the boats.
hey, what do you think about your $100 million of your money, tax money? Oh, we got money to throw everywhere. We're going to give it to Band-Aids and food and Gatorade and some pudding.
That just
some shaky
shows.
pudding.
It honestly it shows how weak Biden is. He's backing one side while he's giving the other side $100 million.
What is it
what a
about
joke.
our first instinct in every
Right, it's to give money.
Let's throw.
We're not Italians. We're not mobsters. We can't just
We
keep
don't
giving
have
money
it.
at everybody's problem.
We don't have it.
Right.
Did you hear what he called them when the missile fell? He goes, "Oh, the other team." He won't even call them terrorists.
Right.
The other team. Yeah.
The other team.
He said that missile. We got videotape of it, and it fell, and they need the other team needs to back down. I'm like, why don't you just come out and say what they are?
Well, I got to run, Soldier Boy. I appreciate the call, man.
All right, guys, I've been listening. Great show so far.
See you, buddy.
272-9228. Tell us about the Alabama Gazette, Sky, if you could.
I sure will. The Alabama Gazette, your hometown conservative newspaper. For where to start, the Alabama Gazette is celebrating their 24th anniversary this month. That is correct. 24 years the Gazette has been published under the banner of God, family, and country. They've always lived up to it. And the big day approaches. That'll be 1 week from today,
right?
Thursday,
Yeah.
October 26th, the 24th anniversary party at their beautiful downtown offices. That's 12 East Jefferson Street, very close to Biscuits.
Yep.
Riverfront.
Right around the corner.
Riverwalk Ballpark. So that's 11 to 1 p.m. There'll be food. There'll be fun. I'll be there.
Excellent.
So there's your extra incentive. So
All right.
come on down lunchtime next Thursday at the Alabama Gazette. We'll be telling you more as we go along. Meanwhile, please consider advertising with the Gazette. They share your principles, your values. It is a ready-made audience for your product. Give them a call, 356-6700. That's the Alabama Gazette. An excellent value for your advertising dollar. 356-6700, the Alabama Gazette.
Now, this part of the program also brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And there at Pest Pro Services, Ashley and her team are ready to help you, well, with any of those pest control problems you might have.
That's right.
It could be you realize termites have hit the property. Like when that crown molding starts to turn into sawdust.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
That ain't good.
Because they didn't start with the crown molding.
No. That's kind of the high shelf there.
Right, exactly. Or if you see, what were you describing the other day, where they will build like these tunnels from the ground? They're like mud
Right
tubes.
off the ground. Like a lot of people have, there'll be a crawl space and there's a distance between the ground and their first piece of wood. Well, termites have learned, hey, if we build high enough chamber, it's like an escalator. It takes us right up to the wood.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's why
Devious.
people like Ashley and her crew, well, they'll come in and they'll go underneath the house. That's one of the things they look for. Because it takes, they don't build those overnight. It takes a little while for that to happen.
Right, they can start to see the beginnings of these sorts of things, where you say the layman isn't going to notice these sorts of things. And of course, they can set you up with some bait. They are the only company in the river region there at Pest Pro Services with the Termidor HP2 injection unit.
Very impressive unit.
Very impressive unit indeed. They bring the very best and newest technology to your home. And so whether you're looking for an emergency, wanting to lay down bait for termites or take care of termites, maybe you got a huge wasp nest that's gotten unruly on your back porch or in your attic, God forbid, or maybe you just want to make Pest Pro your everyday pest control company. They can get you on a regular schedule. Usually the standard schedule is a quarterly schedule.
That's right.
So call them today, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. You can also always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that fine team there that Joey and Eddie and Sky from News and Views in the afternoon, well, we sent you.
That's right.
We'll be right back. Hold on, Red Top.
He may not know whether he's coming or going. But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready for some weather changes, but today is a dry day and fairly comfortable. High temperature today in the middle 70s, mostly sunny, then clouds increasing later on in the afternoon and into the evening hours. Scattered showers and thunderstorms by later on tonight and through the overnight hours and early on the day on Friday as a cold front swings through the state. Tonight's low 57. On Friday, partial sunshine by midday, but gradual clearing after that, high 77. And a great weekend ahead with plenty of sunshine Saturday and Sunday, highs in the mid-70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health. Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
By now, your daily routine is probably a little too routine. Don't you want to change? Don't you want to start playing by your own rules and escape the routine so your fantasy becomes reality? Where every night is an adventure, where new flavors are ready to be tasted, where it feels like you're a winner. Take a chance. Reward yourself. Make your routine anything but routine. Escape every day at Wind Creek Casino and on the Casinoverse app.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones and go to Red Top. Hey, Red Top.
What's happening, Red Top?
Hey, guys. Starting to cool off a little out here with a cool breeze, but gosh, it sure has been a pretty few days.
It has.
This stuff about sending Marines, and I don't know what's happened all of a sudden to everybody, but for instance, I'm at the liquor store yesterday, and I'm talking to this guy who's behind the counter, and I mentioned about the godless stuff that's going on in the Middle East, and he goes, well, no, God is a God of war. Okay, and this seems to be the general consensus among especially Protestants. And let me tell you how little this guy knows about his religion. I said, you must be Protestant. He says, no, I'm Baptist. I said, you must be Protestant. And he says, I'm Baptist. And I go,
different.
I go, sir, you're a Protestant. Martin Luther. He goes, who's Martin Luther?
He's that guy that got assassinated,
and I'm going, you did not go to Catholic school. And it's very apparent, and that goes across the board, even with broadcasting, by the way. I have to educate him. But this is madness. No, not one damn American needs to go over there. Israel has got one of the most powerful armies in the world. They have nuclear weapons, and they can't beat the terrorists, and they missed all the cues. And everybody's been telling them, stop building those damn kibbutz in the middle of the desert where you don't have ownership property.
Yeah, but those kibbutzes that were there had been there for a long, long time.
It doesn't matter. They didn't belong there in the first place, and everybody's been telling them. As far as I can remember, every single president for damn 50 years has been saying, don't do it.
So is Zionism
Leave
just a
them
bad
alone.
idea?
It's a bad idea, and then you put those people out there, those families and all that, and you leave them alone in the middle of hostile territory. So, duh. And they have incredible intelligence failures. Deja vu. Does it sound like 9/11? How do these guys miss all that? And all the other intelligence agencies in the world, I smell a rat, guy. This don't smell right. And on top of that, this is like the first Gulf War. We're going to go to war sometime in the future. Now, that smells a rat, too. If they're really wanting to get rid of Hamas, they would have gone there and stayed until it would have been done by now. So there's a bunch of crap going on that nobody's talking about, and it stinks to me. And no, we need not one American there. That's a disgrace.
What about the American hostages?
Well, what the hell are they doing there, Joey?
Well, some were vacationing, some lived there.
Okay.
Yeah, living free in the Holy Land, they thought.
Yeah, right, the Holy Land.
Wait, so we should just, the
Yeah.
Israelis themselves, the Jewish people with the Zionist movement themselves, and Americans, we should just tuck tail and run if somebody starts, killing you.
Why? No, America's not tucking tail. It's not. That's 4,000 miles from America.
Mm-hmm.
This is ridiculous. Israel has the weapons to defend itself. They've got the Iron Dome. Do we have the Iron Dome? I imagine we do, but we never have talked about it. So here's the country, the only country in the world with the Iron Dome, and all the have we given Israel how many billions of dollars?
Over a few.
$200 billion.
That's, I think, 160 over several decades.
Yeah, okay. And there's no water in Israel or Gaza. They can't desalinate much more. They're ruining the Mediterranean Sea. This part of the world is useless. It's desert. And so we go to the fight a bunch of 4,000-year-old people that hate each other and help them fight each other. I'm sorry. I'm totally against it.
Well, I'm not for the United States getting involved in a larger regional war or sending U.S. troops there to Israel. I think the IDF can handle it. But I think there are things short of war where Ramaswamy's been saying it quite well. You need essentially a diplomatic Iron Dome to where you are actually working with other, say, foreign ministers and State Departments to actually give the Israelis cover to do what they need to do, for instance.
Well, this is exactly what's going on in Ukraine. Women and children mean nothing anymore, so we've gotten nowhere. And there's no diplomacy, and nobody's talking peace. This stinks to holy hell, guys. This is as bad as the collusion before World War II just to make everybody a bunch of damn money. Well, everybody's making a bunch of damn money right now, and it seems like civilians are the only people getting killed. So this stinks to hell. We need to get away from this and run as fast as we can. They want to destroy themselves. They're going to do it. And there's hardly anything we can do about it. But I don't like the Americans saying, yes, send us the Marines over. Well, why don't these people that say that get their own ass over there and solve it? Let's see how big and bad they are. Roll Tide, go Trump. Thank you, guys.
See you, bud.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by, Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy a home or sell a home here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. And Bo's been working in this market, the River Region real estate market, for over 40 years, over 4 decades of experience. So not only can they help you with buying or selling your property, they also have great management services, very reasonable fee. Great idea to do a rental investment in this market, but it can be a pain in the butt to actually manage that yourself. The Goodson Group has your back in that regard. It's worth the money. And then also at the Goodson Group, and this is where Bo's experience, 40-plus years, really comes into play, is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed schools here, real estate schools here in the great state of Alabama, because well, number one, Bo makes it a very interactive course. He's not going to make you, or he's not going to let you sit there like a bump on the log. He's going to make you participate, asking questions, getting people engaged, and then you're going to learn from that 40-plus years of experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Bo Goodson has been through it all. He's learned a lot of lessons that he can give to you. So check him out today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com. That's goodsongroup.com, or give him a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of News and Views in the afternoon. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get it on the program. Larry has called in. Hey, Larry.
Hey, good day, guys. I want to change the topic just a little bit.
Sure.
I'm hoping you guys can help me get some groundswell here. I need help organizing a protest.
What are we protesting?
We need more climate change.
We need more of
The
it.
last 2 days in Montgomery, yes, because the last 2 days in Montgomery, the highs have been the exact proper average for this day of the month of October, and the lows have been the exact proper temperature. There's no change going on anymore, guys. We got to get climate change back on track.
Yeah, it's almost like the Farmer's Almanac that goes back a century or two is more accurate than all these new scientists and projections.
How about that?
I mean, sea levels aren't rising anymore, and the CO2 emissions obviously aren't going up anymore because it's been 2 absolutely average days. What happened to our climate change?
Well, I've got to actually, if you believe in climate change, you really are thinking this is going to be apocalyptic if we don't get control of this. Human beings, what we're doing is not sustainable.
Right.
We're hurting Gaia. We're hurting Mother Earth. So if you believe that, and I'm coming around to it, what we need to do is pass out razor blades to everybody. Not to shave. Just to take a warm bath and, save the planet.
Off yourself. Okay.
Goodness gracious. That's
You
where it
first.
leads.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's where all these
Right
programs
after Al
lead.
Gore.
Absolutely
signed me
insane.
up, okay.
Yeah.
But I just need to organize a protest because if we have a hurricane that hits land for 2 days, then it's apocalyptic and climate change and the world's over and it's all our fault. So obviously the rednecks aren't driving those SUVs enough the last couple of days. Come on, guys.
Well, hold on
let's
now.
get things going here.
We got a big weekend of football coming up, and hunting season's right around the corner. So us rednecks are fixing to kick it in high gear.
Put an effort in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to be in the woods. They won't be driving. And
Oh, we'll be killing trees, though.
Well, only if you're a bad shot.
Like I said, we'll be killing trees. Hitting them road signs.
Well, I appreciate the call, Larry. Great call, man.
Hey, thank you, Larry.
Thanks, guys.
272-9228. For the top hour break, I want to remind you about this big event coming up at Sweet Creek
Oh,
Bar
that's right.
Market.
This weekend, right?
The annual Pumpkin Festival is upon us. The opening weekend is this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday, October 21st, and Sunday, October 22nd. It's also going to happen the weekend following
Right.
this upcoming weekend. So 2
Halloween
weekends in a
is
row.
coming.
Are you going to go out and wait for the great pumpkin, Charlie Brown?
Oh, I might. I'm not a child in the sense that.
Well, we could go snipe hunting while we're waiting on the
I
great
feel
pumpkin.
like when it's because here's the deal. You know me. People listen to me. When it's a great family-centered event like the Pumpkin Fest,
Yeah.
I don't know if Joey should or Eddie either.
We'll talk off air.
Like
I
when
think
us
it's a
two
good
show?
opportunity for Joey to
Go on a
It's
hayride?
Halloween.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
frightening.
Plus, I can take the twins.
So here's the deal. It's a $10 wristband for
Right.
all these activities, but 2 and under are free.
I can take the twins.
So you could do a hayride. They're going to have inflatables like bouncy castles there.
Face painting.
Those are for the children, Eddie. This is what I mean. Face painting, yes. And there's even a new smaller children's area. So that really are little, like the
Okay.
ones getting in free. You've got something for them to do.
Cool.
Of course, there'll be vendors there to provide all sorts of wares, food.
There's going to be some great food.
Oh,
You know there's going to be
count
some
on
great
that.
food.
Because the food's always great at Sweet
Right.
Creek. But when you're doing a pumpkin festival, it gets even better. Games, new fun surprises with the games. Eddie's favorite, the cakewalk.
Man. Yeah, we're going.
And all wristbands, folks, all $10 wristbands receive a pumpkin.
Really? That's cool.
So it's opening weekend of
You get a
Sweet
door
Creek
prize.
Pumpkin Fest.
I dig that.
You can check out all the details yourself there on Sweet Creek's Facebook page. Just type in Sweet Creek Farm Market on the Book of Faces. And when you stop by there, it'd be like, hey, we heard about this whole pumpkin festival
That's
on
right.
News and Views. That Joey and Eddie and those people,
Those guys.
those weirdos, but they seem like good guys
Good
at the end of
folks.
the day.
Yeah.
Love some Sweet Creek, man. That's for sure.
Gotta love, I like the change of season.
Yeah.
And I like that we're heading into Pumpkin Fest and Thanksgiving then after that.
Are you a pumpkin spice guy?
Hmm.
That's what I thought.
Pumpkins, no. Well, the one thing that is good that's pumpkin spice, donuts.
Are you going to wear your furry vest now?
Furry vest?
Like the typical basic chicks do with the furry vest and the Uggs and the pumpkin spice and the stretchy pants?
We got to hit a break.
Sweet Creek, this weekend.
Pumpkin Fest.
That's what I'm talking about.
And we got to hit this break because we keep talking, and in particular, you keep talking. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you something fierce.
I'll call the judge.
Yeah, did I get
And he's still
a
around.
disclosure from the judge?
Oh, we got another judge coming up, Chris McCool, joining us again on the program.
That's a trend.
Bring on a judge.
It's actually the seat he's vacating that Thomas Govan is running for, and Judge McCool's running for a seat on the Supreme Court here in Alabama. So look forward to talking to him. We got to hit the top of the hour break. More news and views in the afternoon. Well, after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Israel's defense minister has told ground troops to be ready to enter the Gaza Strip, though he didn't say when the invasion will start. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes have continued to pound locations across the Gaza Strip. Applications for unemployment benefits fell to their lowest level in 8 months last week as businesses continue to retain workers despite elevated interest rates that are meant to cool the economy and labor market. The Labor Department reporting that jobless claim applications fell by 13,000 to 198,000 for the week ending October 14th, and that's the fewest since January. On Wall Street, stocks have moved higher now. The Dow is up 91 points, the Nasdaq adding 27. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word FAITH to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready for some weather changes, but today is a dry day and fairly comfortable. High temperature today in the middle 70s, mostly sunny, then clouds increasing later on in the afternoon and into the evening hours. Scattered showers and thunderstorms by later on tonight and through the overnight hours and early on the day on Friday as a cold front swings through the state. Tonight's low 57. On Friday, partial sunshine by midday, but gradual clearing after that, high 77. And a great weekend ahead with plenty of sunshine Saturday and Sunday, highs in the mid-70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Looking for a tractor, excavator, mower, ag implements, or other equipment? Capital Tractor is as close as your smartphone or computer. Find the best deals, financing information, and browse new and used inventory with just a click at CapitalTractor.com.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The search for a missing Opelika man has turned into a criminal investigation. Missing since October 12th, the body of 45-year-old Ricky Montel Johnson was found in Alexander City with stab wounds. Montgomery City Councilwoman Marsha Johnson is accusing the fire department of targeting businesses that cater to black customers. She accused the fire department of deliberately going out of its way to find businesses that serve the black community. Alice Johnson returned to Aliceville Prison in West Alabama this week as the keynote speaker at the Life Corrections Program graduation. Johnson began serving a life sentence at Aliceville in 1997 for a first offense drug conviction. Alice Johnson became a prison reform activist after receiving a pardon from President Trump 5 years ago. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
The fall sale is on, and there's never been a better time to upgrade your floors. During Prattville Carpet's biggest sale of the year, find deep discounts on Mohawk flooring for every room in your home, plus interest-free financing with approved credit. Get new floors before the holidays with huge discounts. Visit PrattvilleCarpet.com or call 285-8117 today.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house.
In the house.
And we do have Judge Chris McCool calling in here in a second. He is running for the Alabama Supreme Court to be a justice on the high court here in the great state of Alabama. You can always go to McCoolforSupremeCourt.com. And I guess it'll be our third conversation here.
Oh, nice.
I like this gentleman very much from my past two conversations, and apparently he just officially qualified a couple days ago.
Okay.
So he is in it.
He's ready to put the message out there then.
Now, there's plenty going on in the world.
Really?
Like, it looks like no Jim Jordan for speaker.
Yet.
The bow-tied McHenry, the bean counter himself, the guy who knows how to wield a gavel with wild abandon. He's going to be the interim speaker.
So they're so threatened by Jim Jordan.
Yes.
But old Millhouse here, they're pretty comfortable with.
Right, and now they're like, well, Matt Gaetz should have even done this in the first place. This is just...
Yeah, well, I even heard, what's this guy, Frankenstein? The guy's wearing the hoodie all the time. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name. Fetterman.
Right.
He came out, and he had some pretty nasty words to hurry up and just get back to work. Put another... basically bad person in there and get back to work. Except he used some cuss words about the bad person.
All right.
Right. That's the most passion I've ever seen from that man.
Well, maybe he's healing up.
Well, I think they just forgot to hit the reset button on him last night.
So. Okay. And he gets cranky.
Yep.
Right. But it does look like there's a mess there in the House, and we'll see.
Well, that's why the Hamas did what they did, Joey. They saw we were without a speaker.
Yeah, I was talking to my dad on the road last night, and he's like, man, they shouldn't have done this. There's just too much going on in the world. I'm like, you got to stop watching so much Fox News. Brian Kilmeade.
Joey.
Tell you that? Sean Hannity tell you that?
It was Kilmeade.
Laura Ingraham, that I know she's a handsome woman, Dad, but come on.
I'm not a big fan of Laura so much. I like her politics, but it's her, to me, just personally, it's her attitude and horse-facedness that gets on me.
And now when I look at Drudge Report, 30 hostages are children right now in Gaza.
At least.
The IDF has now greenlit their Gaza move. Powder keg is the way it's being described. And I think that's accurate. Powder keg throughout the region
no one's
there.
given Palestinians a hard time about holding hostages. They're telling Israel, don't go in here and do anything. Hadn't said anything about, hey, condemning them for at least holding the hostages and trying to get a situation out of that. That's okay. Apparently that's okay. We don't protest that.
By the way, Get a load of this poll. And this has me, I get where it's coming from, but it also makes me incredibly ill at ease.
Yeah.
24% of President Joe Biden supporters and I believe 31% of Donald Trump supporters say democracy is no longer viable. Alternative system should be tried. Well, whatever we've been calling democracy, maybe there's a point there.
Is there an alternative system?
Like we could get actually back to the Constitution.
Oh, that'd be an idea.
The part that is a bit unnerving is how many folks favor violence now.
That's something I noticed a couple days ago. Not all these protests, all the things that are going around the world, I have not seen one person ask for peace.
Here's a key finding. When asked whether it is acceptable to employ violence to stop political opponents from attaining their goals, 41% of Biden supporters and 38% of Trump supporters said yes.
That's interesting.
Well, all y'all supporting that, you're going to get what you want, I suppose.
Can't they just meet together in a field and get it on?
Yeah, and we'll make a TV special out of it.
And let that part of the society...
Yeah, we'll put it on X.
Right.
Elon will host it.
I've got nothing for that segment of society, so put them together, let them fight it out, and let them kill each other, because they don't need to be with the rest of us.
Well, and these results, which signal a desire for authoritarian crackdown, come at a time when public trust in government is at a near record low.
No doubt.
This is according to Pew Research Center. And I've written about this, thought about this a while. That it's almost like the West. And this country is one of the last holdouts.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like the West in general, starting with Europe. They first lost faith in themselves, and that led to loss in faith in the highest, in something like God, if not God of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads to, okay, then what's the authority? Earthly authorities. Well, and you look at earthly authorities, what are you going to find out? Yeah, they're just as depraved and as bad as you, if not worse. And yet people are expecting, I get my way all the time, my way all the time. This is how religious wars broke out in Europe. That there used to be, after a bunch of war, hey, we're different, but we can live together. And it seems like that idea of we can live together is going out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a matter of like, oh, you're afraid to die or fight. No, I don't want to see the little that we do have that's precious, that could be lost, just go to waste in blood and violence. And it's incredibly troubling, especially when you see the way the justice system is being used, when you see the distrust about every institution. The only one, again, above water, over 50%, is small business and the military. And they're not thinking the Pentagon, they're thinking of
They're thinking of everyday troops.
Yeah. They're thinking of their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, as airmen, sailors, soldiers, and Marines. But other than that, where the heck are we going with this country? And you don't get me wrong, like you can sit here and have a long conversation with me about different ways our system could work and how I think the system is corrupt. But if you think you're going to solve your problems by some big, massive fight, if you think, well, we'll just use violence against my opponents and it'll all work out, you're no different than every other thug that's risen in human history. Well, and at that point, you either are successful or you're not. And it's just, I don't want to see this country fall into that. Not again. Not again. But maybe there are ways, and this is my hope, is at the local level you start to see folks actually reach out to one another, not as Democrats, not as Republicans, not even as Americans. Maybe we could have this idea of children of God. Because when you say all men are created equal, there are a lot of ways in everyday life that doesn't make sense. There are a lot of people smarter than me. A lot of people better at other things than I am, more successful than I am. Like, can play sports, but I'm never going to be in the NBA. It only makes sense when you say we're equal in the eyes of God.
Right.
Maybe reach out and see that what St. Paul said, there is no Greek or Jew. You're brothers in Christ. I think the drive for political power is driving this country insane. And without getting into too much of a rut, this is just awful news to see. And over what? 272-9228. I think it's over ghosts and demons you've made up in your own mind. Like, seriously, that's the most tragic thing about life. When you get exactly what you want and you're not happy. Yes. And, maybe I asked for the wrong thing.
Believe you me.
I think what not just this country, but this world needs at the moment is a deep sense of humility about the most important, profound things in life. But I don't think we're going to get that anytime. It seems like the world is marching to war.
If we had a meteor attack right now, that would bring everybody together.
Alien attack would help, too.
Maybe that's why they tried to bring the aliens.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. It could be. Do you think the aliens are more like the long-headed, tall, gray guys or the tiny little green, like the little corpses the Mexicans put out there?
I think they're taller than the Mexican corpses.
Taller than
but not tall. I'm thinking efficient. And it's going to be a big brain deal, and the rest is the meat suit. So it's going to be pretty small and lots of telepathy.
Right.
That's the alien I see. I don't know who comes to your house, but the alien that comes to my house, that's who I see.
How about this? Let's hit a break. This part of the program brought to you by, Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. Think about the finer things in life. Think about the good things in life. And there at Dillon Rings, Josh and Leslie Ryder, they can help you pretty much with anything when it comes to jewelry. Come on. They're a full-service jewelry shop.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just they have a great selection. They do. They've got high-end jewelry items. They've got that everyday jewelry that isn't quite as expensive, but still looks great.
Still got that bling.
But you can go to the beach with it. You can go to the pool with it, that sort of thing. You can go hiking the trails.
That's right.
With that jewelry on. But beyond their selection, they can also do jewelry repair. They can do watch repairs even.
Yep.
They can do custom design. We'll tell you more about that later in the show. Josh Ryder is amazing at that sort of thing. They can do spa treatments or cleanings, as they call it, appraisals.
Right.
Even pearl stringing.
I still got to get it.
Maybe you have some loose stones, diamonds, something, pearls. They can put that together in a piece for you. They do it all there at Dillon Rings. So check them out today. You can always go to DillonRings.com. That's DillonRings.com. Or give them a call at 215-3669. But I really encourage you to go by 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. And don't forget, go to their Facebook page.
Yeah.
I believe it's November the 9th.
Okay.
From 5:30 to 7:30. I think I'm remembering that correctly.
All right.
Ladies' night. The feeling's right.
If they're not playing ladies' night music when I go in there, I'm going to be a little
And they're going to have specialty selections there on Ladies' Night. All sorts of prizes and surprises, too.
Then they'll be rocking that song.
Y'all got to check out Dillon Rings. And, again, be sure to tell them you heard about them here from these two weirdos on the radio.
They like us, though.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your fall market report on real estate in the River Region. From January through September of 2023, close to 3,600 homes have sold and closed in our area through area realtors. Our average sales price is approximately $250,000, which makes us one of the most affordable areas in the state to buy a house. So far this year, sellers that listed with an area realtor were blessed with a sales price that was 98% of the listed price or possibly above listed price. Because we have had a severe shortage of houses on the market, the buyers have had to look a little longer to find a home that satisfied their needs. Even with higher rates, local mortgage lenders have found ways for buyers to buy down rates on their mortgages and making the transition from tenants to home ownership possible. For all the details, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
Hey y'all, this is Tammy at Mama's Produce, and it's a new season here. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here through the fall. We've got all of your tailgate needs. We've got breakfast needs. Don't forget we got new sausages in. Those sausages we had last year, they're back. Still got your tomatoes, other fresh vegetables, and we're going to have some new things coming online, so stay tuned to our Facebook page and look out.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. we've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Your host, Joey Clark. My bobbleheaded sidekick, his name's Eddie Bader. If you're watching on the live stream, that's Joey Clark live on YouTube.
If you don't want me to bob my head, then quit playing such good music.
Well, it's just a finger-picking exercise. I turned into a song. But
Really good.
Without further ado, let's go. Welcoming back to the show. I believe a third time we're having a conversation here. We have Judge Chris McCooley is running for the Alabama Supreme Court, a seat on the court there. Judge, how are you this afternoon?
Doing great. Thank you for having me back.
Great to have you on. And I believe I saw a few days ago, 3 days ago, you officially qualified for the race, right?
That's correct. Qualifying opened up Monday morning, and I was up there bright and early and threw my name in the hat or my hat in the ring, and so I am officially a candidate for place 1 on the Alabama Supreme Court.
Now, before we get into some other issues, for folks who haven't heard you before on the show or heard you at all, let's give them the Chris McCool 101. Tell us about yourself.
So I grew up on a farm in Pickens County and still live there, still run that farm. And but I went to undergraduate at the University of Alabama, went to law school there, came back to Pickens County, Gordo, practiced small-town practice law for a couple of years, and then became a prosecutor for the next 24 years or so. I was district attorney for about 18 of that, and ran in 2018 for the Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals and won, and have been serving on that court, which is an intermediate appellate court just below the Supreme Court, for the last 5 years or so.
Now, we actually had on at the beginning of the show Thomas Govan, and I believe he's running for the seat you're now leaving. He was also
Correct.
a prosecutor. So what about being a prosecutor do you think gives you a unique perspective as you head and try to get onto the Supreme Court?
Well, as a prosecutor, first of all, you get all kinds of in-court, trial court experience. I know have friends that have been lawyers as long as I have that might have tried, a handful of cases, but I've tried thousands of cases to judges, and I think I ended up trying 50-something cases before juries, and it just gives you a perspective when you're in the trenches, as we call it, that you don't get when you never really actually go in the courtroom and try cases. And the second thing about that, though, is that the prosecutor's job is not just to rack up convictions; it's to do justice in every case. Our client is not the victim; our client is the state. Although the victim's interests almost always line up with the state's interests, but the point being that what I was looking at as a prosecutor all those years was not just how can I win this case, but what is the right outcome for this case? What is the just and fair outcome? And so, in a sense, I was already a judge. I was the first judge of the case, and that gives you a perspective that helps you once you get on the bench, I believe.
Now, is there a particular case in your career as a prosecutor or is your time as a judge on the Court of Criminal Appeals that really sticks in the mind, that just one you're never going to forget, maybe in a way that because you never forget it, it kind of shapes you going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of cases that I would consider big cases. In 2003, we had two dispatchers, two police officers and a dispatcher murdered in the Fayette police station, and that was a big case. It took about a month to try it, and of course we saw it and got the death penalty. But perhaps one of the cases that sticks out most in my mind, though, was around that same time. We had a young lady who went missing who was in the dope community, and she was just really, she ended up being murdered and thrown in a well, and it turns out that there wasn't a lot of publicity around that case. There wasn't a lot of people clamoring for justice in that case, and it wasn't an easy case to try, but we tried it and we won it. And like I said, there weren't lights, camera, and action on that case, but we did the right thing, and that one, to me, sticks out to a great extent because it's easy to try cases that people are watching you, but it's what you do on the cases that a lot of folks don't care about. You should care about it, and I did, and I've always been very proud of that particular case that I prosecuted to a successful conclusion.
Now, before we keep going on some of the issues and maybe legal questions out there in this world, let's talk a little family and bio. Tell us about your family.
So I've been married to my wife Sherry for nearly 32 years. Valentine's Day of next year will be 32 years. And she grew up about 5 miles from me on a chicken farm as well. Her dad was a chicken farmer, mine was too. We got married. We have 4 children, two boys and 2 girls. 3 of them are married. My oldest is a stay-at-home mom. Her husband is an attorney and part-time prosecutor there in Pickens County. And my oldest son is an accountant, and he and his wife live in Georgia. She's getting her master's degree over there in English literature. And then my youngest daughter is a art history teacher at the University of Alabama. Her husband works for the Forestry Commission, and my youngest son is getting his degree in music composition at the University of Alabama and is a big CrossFit competitor. And then the most important member of our family is my grandson, Cal. He's the only grandchild I've got at this point, but he's, of course, the best there's ever been.
Well, and I just, the best news I've heard in years, I just became an uncle to a baby girl and niece. And first in our generation, my brother having the first kid in our generation. It does change perspective. Right. And so this question, we were talking about this before you hopped on, Judge. It just troubles me to no end. And as you're also a pastor, of course, you're a man who's dedicated himself to the law. You're looking to be on the Supreme Court here in the state. I just saw a poll, and essentially 41% of Biden supporters, 38% of Trump supporters believe that it would be fine to use violence to stop their political opponents. And I just see that, and I've got a lot of commentary myself, but it's given your background and thinking about the next generations, like, how do we get out of this? How do we instill kind of trust and faith in our institutions again?
That's a problem that I see on both sides of the aisle because, and I understand a lot of my fellow Christian conservatives sometimes are tempted to fall into that camp of we do whatever it takes to get our political agenda passed. But our founding fathers were, I believe they were Christians. They were influenced by especially Reformed Christian theology. Some called it, I've read where some called it the Presbyterian Revolt over here, some folks in England. And the point being that they believed that we needed something besides. After they achieved independence, they established our Constitution as the appropriate document in the appropriate way to peacefully transition power in government, to peacefully promote your agenda, and I think we need to get back to that idea that we understand that if you don't like who's in power, we vote them out next time. We certainly need to make sure that our elections are fair and that they're secure. I'm all about election security, but it just you've got to remember that violence is not the answer, and if you're a Christian, that's something that ought to be just in characteristic of our lives.
Right. Yeah, I was just saying that before you came on, that not just as Republicans and Democrats or as Americans, maybe as children of God. And that's right. Maybe the way we overcome this stuff. But I also wonder, how much do you think is valuable? Of course, we've got the Supreme Court of the United States, but for folks to be able to look at Alabama Supreme Court and believe, hey, we've elected the right people to this, we know they're going to give us maybe not the particular outcomes, but we know they're going to follow the process in the right way. Can you speak to that, in particular, your judicial philosophy if you end up on Alabama Supreme Court?
Yes, you hit the nail on the head right there. The people need to have confidence that our Supreme Court, our judicial system, is being run fairly. It's being run by people who understand the role of judges, and that judges are not legislators. Judges are judges, and they're not to legislate from the bench. One of the things you just said is something I push everywhere I go. You know, people ask me, well, how would you rule in this type of case? Well, I can't tell you what my ruling would be, and I can't because I can't promise you an outcome, but I can promise you a process. And the process is, I'm a judicial conservative. I believe the law is what's written on the page. It's the black words on the page. It's not what I think it should be. It's not what I think that the legislator thought it ought to be. It's what did they pass, and what does it say? You know, the Constitution, for example, is not some living document that evolves with the mores of society. The Constitution was passed. It meant, the words of the Constitution meant something when it was adopted, and it still means that today. And we can actually go back and figure out what those words mean and what they meant at the time. And we need to be careful that we don't impose some evolving standard on it, but rather we go back to the original intent of the framers, and we look at what the text itself says. And I think when you do that, there's predictability, there's stability, and people have confidence in their system of judicial governance.
So if folks like what they're hearing, Judge, and again, we've been talking to Judge Chris McCool, how can they support your campaign, whether to volunteer or donate? How can they help out?
Go to McCoolforSupremeCourt.com. There is a link to sign up there. There's a link to donate. Also, I'm on Facebook and social media at Judge Chris McCool. So just go to either of those places, and you'll be able to click and to join and to sign up.
Well, I always appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll do this again soon. I thank you for joining the show, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate coming on.
And that's Judge Chris McCool. Really do respect that man. The more you get to know him, he's a pretty solid candidate. Would be a good fit there on the high court here in this particular state of ours.
Good idea, Joey. Get to know your judges. Good idea.
I should have asked him.
No. I'm just saying.
I should have asked him for a waiver.
Not on the first day.
This is the third time. I'm getting close.
Yeah. Time, yeah. Well, next time, slam dunk for sure then.
Slam dunk that. See that paddle over there? It's right behind me, folks, actually. Hold on 1 second.
Where's it at?
It's right here.
Oh, yeah. That's a big paddle you got there, buddy.
So you're telling me that it says Southern Wood abides.
Yeah.
And so I should ask for a waiver.
I'm just saying it's a good idea to go ahead and get those judges on your good side. That's what I'm saying.
No, holding this? This is not
making you feel like a man, Joe?
No, it was doing the opposite. Like this grip.
Can you even wrap your little hand? I mean, your big old hands around it?
I can somewhat, but I have small hands. What are you talking? Okay. I've never claimed otherwise.
I hear you claim my hands all the time. Is that just your Trump impersonation?
My hands are average. So, but I'm saying, but this was not designed for average hands. I got to feel if I swung this at somebody, they would very quickly be able to grab it. You would not have a good grip on this thing.
I see what you're saying. Maybe a little grip tape on it.
It's more like a boat oar.
That or a cricket bat is what it reminds me of.
It is like a cricket bat.
Yep.
But, I mean, if you keep it up one of these days.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
One of these days.
So one of these days I'm going to come in with that attitude. Looking for a licking. Or paddling, whatever you want to do.
No, I've threatened a lot of the politicians, especially up in D.C., but I think...
See, again, I think the enjoyment factor would be on the other side.
They would like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you could string it, make it a guitar one day. Ukulele, perhaps.
Maybe. You want to hit a break?
Yeah, because I want to talk about Cher when we come back.
Cher?
Yeah, she's laid out some dramatic news.
Oh, yeah. I saw that ultimatum she just laid down to the American people. And then did you also see, it's a big scientific, well, not really scientific, more philosophical breakthrough?
Yeah.
From Stanford. He's claiming to be a scientist, but come on.
He must be married.
You can see that photo of him, like that big old beard. He looks like Robert Plant, kind of.
A little bit. I see that.
Anyway, Stanford scientist, after decades of study, concludes we don't have free will.
You notice that's a man, right? And he's married. He should have taken that survey before he got married. I bet he'd have come out with a different outcome.
You know, and he was always destined to come to this conclusion.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Joey Clark.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster. Hey man, what's happening? Now, I understand you radio people move a lot, is that correct? Yeah, sometimes. Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money? Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man. Your money man? With the money plan. I see. So no matter where I go up and down the dial, David has my back, you know? I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with David Ernest. 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And he has a website at retirewithernest.com. Hey, you're on top of it today, man. I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting. Yes, I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air. Why were you taken off the air? Too much foul language, man. Oh my. I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
Actor Portrayal, based on a real patient experience.
I'm Mike. I'm a husband, proud father of 2, work my butt off 6 days a week, some nights too. When my family or my company needs me to make it happen, I make it happen. But a few months ago, I started having trouble making it happen, you know, in the bedroom. I tried some pills online, but they didn't work. Honestly, I thought about throwing in the towel on my sex life, but I'm not that old. I still want to enjoy intimacy with my wife. Like that poet said, I don't want to just go gently into that good night. So I went to Montgomery Men's Health.
Got some lab work done, was prescribed some meds, and
wow, it made it happen. I can't say enough good about them. They took care of me, followed up, and made adjustments to make it happen even better. I even learned I had low testosterone, which they were also treating me for. And I have never felt better. If I were you and you're like me, I'd give them a call today at 334-440-3663 or go to montgomerymenshealth.com. If you like most guys, they'll make it happen for you too.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready for some weather changes, but today is a dry day and fairly comfortable. High temperature today in the middle 70s, mostly sunny, then clouds increasing later on in the afternoon and into the evening hours. Scattered showers and thunderstorms by later on tonight and through the overnight hours and early on the day on Friday as a cold front swings through the state. Tonight's low 57. On Friday, partial sunshine by midday, but gradual clearing after that, high 77. And a great weekend ahead with plenty of sunshine Saturday and Sunday, highs in the mid-70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At CB&S Bank, we've been meeting the needs of our customers since 1906. Need help setting up new business goals? Our line of commercial loans can help you achieve them. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. How you doing, Eddie?
All right. How you doing, bro?
So tell us about Cher.
Well, today while I was waiting to get my haircut, I was going through important stories, and Cher came up. And apparently, Cher has made the statement that if Donald Trump becomes president, she's out of here. Because last time, she almost had an ulcer while he was in presidency. Which I, personally, I love Cher, but I'm kind of over her and people like that make those kind of
I mean,
proclamations.
come on, Cher. Is it Donald Trump or is it too many buffalo wings?
We
We all know what you're doing.
I kind of feel like people like that, when they don't hold their word, because none of them ever do.
Right.
That we as Americans should draw up some type of proclamation. If you make these kind of claims, you have to
Actually own up to it.
yeah, at least for a year.
Make good on it.
Yes.
Where would she go? Canada? Maybe New Zealand's is nice
New
this
Zealand
time
would
of
be
year.
wonderful. Yes.
Guam, maybe.
Actually, I would like her to go somewhere like a third world, do an internship in like Somalia, somewhere where she could probably gain some.
Like a lot of experience, it helps build character.
Yes, and
Right.
she could really probably realize just how good she's got it.
I know where she needs to go. Mauritania.
That sounds wonderful.
That's where the Eye of the Sahara is. You remember that thing?
Oh, never mind. That'd be a good place for her.
Well, and the
maybe.
reason they haven't been able to study this incredible anomaly there right in the Sahara Desert is because the Mauritanian authorities will kill you. You talk about immigration policy, we need to tighten up here a little bit. They will just invite you in and then straight up kill you.
Well, again, I think we should send several of our ambassadors over there. Perhaps just to,
No, Eddie, no.
just to kind of do the whole warming. It's going to take a few of them for them to calm down. And then, perhaps by then we'll all be ready to talk.
So Cher has said if Donald Trump wins
Yes.
again, then
She's
she is out
She
of
has
the
no
United
choice
States.
because she almost got an ulcer last time he was in office.
See, sometimes my mind often confuses Cher and Celine Dion. I don't know why.
Oh, no, I could see that. The only reason I really have an affection for Cher is grew up watching Sonny and Cher. And so I still have, she still almost kind of looks the same, but her brain left, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, it's how did Sonny Bono die?
Skiing accident in that tree.
Hit a tree?
Yeah. No, a couple people have gone that way.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
hit a
this
tree
is
or
why I
two,
don't
too.
like
It's not-
doing like extreme sports, especially not water or winter extreme sports.
I've hit a few trees. It took
You
my
have?
shoulder out. Oh, yeah. I mean, especially in deep powder, I see where you're
How
going
big
with
was the tree that you hit?
well, the first one, my buddy Charlie Shattuck's, rednecks that we were in Highland Gardens, we wound up the tire swing, and then let it go.
Yeah. We hit a tire swing.
So we did that.
Oh
and,
yeah, I fell off the tire swing a few times.
that
Like
was
you
the-
get too fancy, get
Yeah.
it too high, and you lose your grip.
that
yeah,
was the
it's so
goal,
fun.
who could be a man. So I held on there long enough for one of them to say, all right, well, let's push him now. And I went into a tree as I was spinning, and that was my first.
You just brought up another memory
True
where
concussion.
I was only like 7 or 8, so I was a little guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to dunk. And it was a 10-foot goal. And I remember I got up on a big green
Where's
trash.
the ladder?
Well, no, I got up on a big green trash can, but it wasn't that full.
Yeah.
So what occurred is
Who got dunked, Joey?
me, but then I also realized I'm like a cat, where I like caught myself perfectly with my hands and feet. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that again, but guess we got lucky this time. There was one time I ate it, helping somebody move furniture downtown. You know that sidewalk near the water tower and all
Oh,
that?
yes.
It's very bumpy.
It's
And we were
a little
moving a
busted up.
coffee table, trying to move sideways. And man, I ate it something fierce. Oh, that time I was trying to do yoga by the pool. I ate
that
it
one's-
publicly.
I didn't want to bring that one up.
That was a head rush thing. I had 4 or 5 beers and then, trying to put
I gotta
yourself
be honest.
upside down doesn't
If
work.
I was there that day,
Mhm.
I would still be so embarrassed for you today. I don't know if we could do this show together. I don't know if I could ever
I've
get
done
that
a lot of
image.
embarrassing things.
I know, but I don't know if I can get that image. Joey sits up here on a shelf. I don't.
No,
wanna,
I don't.
In my mind, you do. I don't want to see that image.
Well,
of
your
Joey's
mind's a little
ultimate
messed up.
fail.
We can both agree, right?
Well, I've
Your
had a few
mind's
accidents.
a bit warped, just a little bit. But so Cher's going to get out of the country,
Right. And she's probably the first one to announce, but she won't be the only.
Right. But hopefully, Rob Reiner will also leave.
Rob Reiner would be a good one. I look for Rosie to get involved in this campaign as well. Rosie
O'Donnell?
Yeah, but she's not a big Trump fan. I don't know what her issue is with him. I mean, he just told it like it was.
What
but
happened to Alyssa Milano?
She was supposed to go last time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It got kind of quiet in that camp, I think. I wonder who's the boss with that.
And by the way, when's the last time we heard from Caitlyn Jenner? Because it was Woman of the Year, and then it's like, and I also love Trump. And they're like, get out of here, you tranny. And it's like, whoa, I thought y'all were
Exactly,
accepting.
Well, as long as you fit our 100% political agenda, we'll accept you.
But here's the deal, folks. I don't blame anybody for anything. I don't blame anybody for anything because we don't have free will, according to some scientists at Stanford. So the headline from the LA Times is Stanford scientist after decades of study concludes we don't have free will. So let's read the story, shall we?
Please. I'm curious as to why don't we have free will?
Before epilepsy was understood to be a neurological condition, people believed it was caused by the moon or by phlegm in the brain. I still think that's possible.
Something to do there.
They condemned seizures as evidence of witchcraft or demonic possession and killed or castrated sufferers to prevent them from passing tainted blood to a new generation.
Whoa. You castrated them?
Yeah, I don't want any more kids, more people like that. That guy keeps falling asleep in the middle of the day. Or having seizures, falling off his horse.
Who's sleeping with him?
Which is, by the way, all the more remarkable. Caesar had this problem. He had epilepsy.
Really?
Julius Caesar.
I did not know that.
Like, so even with, like, it's amazing who is able to rise. Anyway, today we know epilepsy is a disease. By and large, it's accepted that a person who causes a fatal traffic accident while in the grip of a seizure should not be charged with murder. That's good, says Stanford University neurobiologist Robert Sapolsky. That's progress, but there's still a long way to go. After more than 40 years studying humans and other primates, Sapolsky has reached the conclusion that virtually all human behavior is as far beyond our conscious control as the convulsions of a seizure, the division of cells, or the beating of our hearts. This means accepting that a man who shoots into a crowd has no more control over his fate than the victims who happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. It means treating drunk drivers who barrel into pedestrians like drivers who suffer a sudden heart attack and veer out of their lane. The world is really screwed up and made much, much more unfair by the fact that we reward people and punish people for things they have no control over, Sapolsky said. We've got no free will. Stop attributing stuff to us that isn't there. Isn't your very act of making these claims an example of something considering agency?
I would think so.
Yeah. Like you have volition? And this is what drives me nuts. It's like ever since the Big Bang started, matter and antimatter met in this perfectly dense thing. The whole plan was splayed out, laid out. But isn't it possible that, yeah, you might be the product of all these incredible material physical forces, but don't you have volition? Or else, what are you doing? But he goes on, he's a MacArthur Genius Grant winner, and he's extremely aware that this is an out there position. Most neuroscientists believe humans have at least some degree of free will. So do most philosophers and the vast majority of the general population. Free will is essential to how we see ourselves, fueling the satisfaction of achievement or the shame of failing to do the right thing. Saying that people have no free will is a great way to start an argument. This is partly why Sapolsky, who describes himself as a majorly averse to interpersonal conflict, put off writing his new book, Determined, A Science of Life Without Free Will. He's 66 and has a mild demeanor and a Jerry Garcia beard. For more than 3 decades, he escaped the politics of academia to study baboons in rural Kenya. That's right, baboons.
Got the baboons over there, do they?
And those baboons.
We got some baboons over here ourselves.
You mean the folks up there in Washington, D.C.?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. No, I think it was Vivek Ramaswamy the other day. He was on the hostile territory, the Young Turks,
boy.
Cenk and Anna Kasparian.
Not a fan, but yes.
Anna's good looking. I can give her that. But I think he said something to the effect that these super PAC puppets are like a bunch of circus monkeys. And do you blame the circus monkey for being a bad monkey for doing all the trick? No,
you got to get his treat.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when it comes to free will. Our politicians, I agree. I don't believe they have free will. I think they did up until they signed their contract in blood.
See, here Sapolsky goes on. Here's a quote. I'm really, really, really trying not to sound like a combative jerk in the book. I deal with human complexities by going and living in a tent. So, yeah, I'm not up for a lot of brawls about this. And he, of course, has no choice in the matter. Like, he was always destined to study this and come to these conclusions.
He's so married.
Analyzing human behavior through the lens of any single discipline leaves room for the possibility that people choose their actions, he says. But after a long cross-disciplinary career, he feels it's intellectually dishonest to write anything other than what he sees as the unavoidable conclusion. Free will is a myth, and the sooner we accept that, the more... Wait. Free will is a myth, and the sooner we accept that. Isn't accept an act? Isn't accepting something...
refuse to accept it, am I expressing my free will, or am I... I'd be expressing my free will. That's simple. And me, for one, I refuse to accept that. I had a choice this morning. I had free will to make that choice. I didn't make the healthy choice, but I made a choice.
The book breaks down the neurochemical influences that contribute to human behaviors, analyzing the milliseconds to centuries preceding, say, the pulling of a trigger or the suggestive touch on an arm. Wow. Determined goes a step further. If it's impossible for any single neuron or any single brain to act without influence from factors beyond its control, Sapolsky argues, there can be no logical room for free will. Many people will, with even a passing familiarity with human biology, can comfortably agree with this up to a point. Yeah, I mean, there are drives that aren't under our volition. But I think there is something unique going on with the human mind, dare I say with the human soul, that defies and surprises the forces that are usually acting upon us. That's how anything changes. Like, I remember reading something in college, folks, where feminists largely disagree with the whole idea of free will, this mythical notion of free will. And, and I'm like, I asked the teacher, then how did anybody, if patriarchy ruled for 1,000 years, how did anybody ever become the first feminist? How did anybody discover anything new? They were just destined to?
Yes.
It just seems like you have to accept this or not. And it's like, okay, I thought you said
If you have free will, if you don't have free will, then you just have to accept it.
All right. I mean, here's the deal, folks. We have free will, and we have no choice in the matter.
Right. By the way, he looks like Mark Hamill from when he did that movie with Bert Kreischer.
Ugh.
That's who he looks
Not
like.
a good movie.
No. I watched
Awful
it again.
movie.
I watched it again the other day, I think for the third time. I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more.
Maybe.
Because I've already been disappointed. So I already know
Bert
what's
is not
going
a good actor. He just needs to stick to the comedy and the podcast.
Don't give the guy a hard time. He's trying.
Now, this part of the program brought to you by Bath Innovations of Alabama. And their Bath Innovations, Brad McDowell and the team, well, they're ready to help you in all sorts of ways. It could be you're looking for a small fix, like a discolored sink or a chipped bathtub.
Bad chipped in the sink.
That's no fun. It looks gross. It's actually going to cause more damage.
It starts growing bacteria and things like that in it too.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want mold buildup too, especially like as it starts to get under places where you can't see.
Yep. What's that
it could be
smell?
Yeah. Or why am I breathing in a rough way?
Good point.
You don't want your bathroom to get nasty in that regard. Or it could be it's not just a small fix.
Yeah.
It could be, hey, I want to make this look like a completely different room.
They have the stuff to do that with.
They could do that there at Bath Innovations.
Sure
Maybe
do.
you're aging. Maybe you're getting a little up there and you're not as sure-footed as you used to be. Maybe you have other accessibility.
Why are you looking at me when you say that, Joey?
Because you're aging, like everybody else. What are you, 65?
Close.
Hey, you look good.
I've been working out.
I can tell. I can tell. So here's the deal. We're barely scratching the surface on everything Bath Innovations of Alabama has to offer. A lot of amazing products there, folks. Again, they can meet any budget, whether it's a full remodel or you want a new shower head. The way you need to look into this is just go to bathinnovations.com.
Yes.
That's bathinnovations.com. Start to mix and match, and then stop by 2331 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. Sit down with Brad and the team, and they're going to be able to help you. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the afternoon sent you. More News and Views after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
It's time to call Southern Bells Cleaning to help you get your house in order. They've spent years earning the trust of families in the River region, and they believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. Callan and her crew at Southern Bells brings all their own supplies, arrive on time, and specialize in full-service residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning, River Region.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. My trusty sidekick, Eddie Bader, is here in the studio with me.
What's up, Joey?
Just hanging in there.
Like a hair in a biscuit.
And as you just heard, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and her team are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy that home or maybe you're looking to refinance. In fact, a lot of people are going for that refinance.
You bet.
And here's the deal. Even though interest rates on mortgages are, yes, up 8%, I think is the average.
A little over 7%.
Yeah, we can't be thinking about the past, though. And that 8%, that 7% is a lot better than 25%.
You bet.
28%, which is what the average?
Yeah.
APR
average here in Alabama.
That's insane. Insane. So if you're stuck under that sort of mountain of credit card debt or any other sort of debt, with a great refinance deal with Alabama Home Mortgage, you can get back on a sounder financial footing. And of course, if you're a veteran, they're VA Home Loan certified there at Alabama Home Mortgage, so they can help you take advantage of those benefits you earned through your service. And if you're not taking advantage of this, maybe the last company you work with didn't tell you about it.
Happens a lot.
They know all the details. Again, they're at Alabama Home Mortgage, and you got to use it because it's the best game in town.
It is.
You're leaving money on the table if you're not taking advantage of those benefits you earned. And, of course, they can help you through the home buying process from pre-approval all the way to closing day. Great local folks you can trust.
Amazing people.
So call up Alabama Home Mortgage today, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. You can also visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and Madeline proved that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. I'm out of time here for this quick segment. Here we go. Okay, Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hey, Sammy.
Hey guys, listen. I know I can answer that question. Where Cher would go?
Yeah,
Cher would. Yeah, Cher. She had to leave the U.S. She would head to the Cherokee Nation. Cherokee Nation. That's right.
Cherokee
people. Yeah.
I don't know if they
proud
claim
to
it.
live. So proud to die. That's where she
And at the end of the day, she had no choice in the matter. It was always going to end up this way.
Yep. You boys.
All right, that's see y'all later.
See you, Sammy. He's working down there. It's getting hot. Heat's getting to him.
Yeah, I can tell. What explains our behavior?
It's just us.
Yeah.
Just us.
Maybe there's like black mold in here or something.
I know there is.
Or worse in the legislature. We'll be right back. Hopefully have Jeff Dice.
Yes, right. Call in.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Conservative Jim Jordan from Ohio suspending his bid to serve as House Speaker and will instead support a plan to let interim Speaker Patrick McHenry from North Carolina run the House temporarily. Israel's defense minister told ground troops to be ready to enter the Gaza Strip, though he did not say when the invasion might start. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says inflation remains too high and that bringing it down to the Fed's target level will likely require a slower growing economy and job market. Powell noted inflation has cooled significantly from a year ago, but that it's not yet clear whether inflation is on a steady path to the Fed's 2% target. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 66 points and the Nasdaq losing 46 points. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word FAITH to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready for some weather changes, but today is a dry day and fairly comfortable. High temperature today in the middle 70s, mostly sunny, then clouds increasing later on in the afternoon and into the evening hours. Scattered showers and thunderstorms by later on tonight and through the overnight hours and early on the day on Friday as a cold front swings through the state. Tonight's low 57. On Friday, partial sunshine by midday, but gradual clearing after that, high 77. And a great weekend ahead with plenty of sunshine Saturday and Sunday, highs in the mid-70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE Credit Union makes auto loans easy with rates as low as 4.75% APR. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
1819 News.
Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall spoke recently with the Birmingham Police Department about a new state law. Marshall is seeking to inform law enforcement and local leadership across the state about the new anti-gang law that enhances penalties for those who engage in criminal enterprise. Marshall is further detailing what the thresholds are that need to be established when someone is engaging in criminal activity for the purpose of benefiting a group of criminals. Marshall will be meeting with other police departments around the state in the weeks ahead. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
Airbus, based out of the city of Mobile, will be bringing 1,000 new jobs to the area after their new assembly line is completed. Construction has been underway since the plan was announced last year. Airbus executives say the new assembly line will double their output of aircraft. Airbus currently employs 1,800 people in Mobile. The city of Tuskegee is getting the needed funds to fix some drainage problems. The Appalachian Regional Commission is providing the grant money to the state of about $764,000. There are 10 different drainage problems in that city that came to light after heavy rains just a few years ago. Opelika police are investigating human remains found in Alexander City that may be that of a missing Opelika man. 45-year-old Ricky Johnson was last seen leaving his home on October 12th. The human remains were found 3 days later. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
It's fall, y'all, at Mama's Produce, and boy, do we have what you need. We have mums of every color. Corn stalks will be in soon, pumpkins. We have fall flowers and fall vegetables. And don't forget to check out our Facebook page, Mama's Produce. We post what we have as soon as it comes in so that you're right there. Check out our gift ideas as well.
Y'all come on down to Mama's, right next to Prattville Farm Center, 1154 South Memorial Drive. Everybody loves Mama's.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour of News and Views in the afternoon. Here on a Thursday.
It's already Thursday.
Yeah, weeks flown by.
It really has. Sure has.
And bringing back a regular guest here now. Always great having this gentleman on the program. We have Jeff Deist on the line. Jeff, how are you this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Joey. Doing well.
And for folks who don't know, Jeff is formerly the president of the Mises Institute, also for a time was chief of staff for Dr. Ron Paul, Congressman Ron Paul, has bylines in the Washington Times, Fox News, The Hill, Roll Call, Chronicle, Zero Hedge, Intellectual Takeout, and 1819 News. And it's great to see your name in all those places, Jeff. I want to start off with, because the world's so crazy, something that might be fun here. I'll set it up this way. I have this, big news TV, and when you turn it on, it goes to one of these free cable things, internet cable things, and it is frustrating. But what I've learned is leave it on the classic movie channel, and really I've enjoyed this to where I'll get caught up in a particular movie because it's like a completely different world when you see even Elvis or you see a John Wayne character. Is there something about that world that we seem to have lost? If people tuned into maybe a few classic movies, maybe men could learn how to be men again, for lack of a better phrase?
Wow, it's a good question. I just happened to be at an Airbnb over the weekend, and I don't have cable at home, but the Airbnb had Turner Classic Movies, and I caught a late-night movie from 1950 called The Asphalt Jungle, which is an early sort of film noir. So it's coming out of the 50s, and the men all have these huge boxy suits on and everything. But it stars a young Sterling Hayden, and some people might remember that name. He went on to be in The Godfather. He played Captain McCluskey, the corrupt police captain, that Michael Corleone has to break his jaw. He breaks Michael Corleone's jaw, and then Michael Corleone ends up shooting him in the Italian restaurant. So, yeah, I'm almost on the verge of forking out for cable so I can get Turner Classic Movies.
Well, this came with the TV. I think it's Paramount Classic Movies is what I've been watching. And Marilyn Monroe's in that flick?
No, she's not in The Asphalt Jungle. But there is. It's got a very dark film noir feel to it. It feels like something that you would enjoy on a Friday or Saturday night, but it's not the kind of thing you would ever necessarily go out and purchase or rent.
Now, just following up on this, because you've seen how I dress for the radio, Is there something about it's an old adage, I think it goes back thousands of years, clothes make the man. Do you have any advice to, say, young men or some that are getting close to 40 who still don't know how to dress, how they could go about it?
Well, you guys have taken on this new gambit where you have that camera in the studio.
Yeah.
Joey, so we
Didn't
can,
fully
we
think
can
that one
see
through.
your baseball caps and your hoodies, and look, you're not getting on anybody's list of best dressed in 2023, and that's okay. But just as long as you recognize it.
Well, you don't have to rub it in. I was asking for help. I know.
Well, that's why they. I mean, look, the whole point of radio is there's no camera.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you guys are doing.
You didn't fully think that one through.
Well, we're just trying to survive here. No, lately I've been getting crap because I've been wearing vests with button-ups. So I guess the vest doesn't play.
But you don't have the
these
pocket
days.
watch to go with it. If you'll just put the pocket watch in there, Joey.
Well, it is nice to have this cooler weather, we have to admit.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the shift into fall, and the jacket weather is always welcome. Now, I was inspecting your Twitter page like I do, and there's this one guy out there, big follower count. Elon always retweets him, this Shiba Toshi Nakamoto, and he says, I feel like America is becoming more and more hostile towards productive citizens, anti-business, anti-innovation, anti-freedom. We get less and pay more than pretty much everywhere else. It very much feels like watching an empire collapse from poor leadership and poor policy. And I believe you responded to that by saying this is where mass democracy necessarily leads us. So can we put this together? How does mass democracy lead to sort of this hostility towards productive citizens and towards, say, innovation, freedom, and making money?
Well, we don't have a unified culture in America anymore, and I'm not sure that we ever did, but nonetheless, we had a generalized agreement on property rights and the rule of law and the idea that if you went out there and hustled, you ought to be able to make a decent living in this world. And so now we're in a situation where people have voted and voted and voted to fund all kinds of entitlements and all kinds of wars and all kinds of federal spending projects that we simply don't have the money for. And as a result of that, we print and borrow money to make up the difference. But what's so striking here is that if you have the ability to travel, we are still convinced that America is the most advanced or dynamic economy in the world. And in some ways, it certainly is the home of probably of more capital and a larger economy. But if you have the chance to visit Japan or Dubai or Singapore, there are lots of places in the world that are actually, the day-to-day things function better. Things are cleaner, there's less crime, there's less graffiti, things are more orderly, the public transportation is much better, the hospitals and doctors' offices are much better, the schools are better, the hotels and restaurants are better. So we've gotten soft here in America. I think we've lost some of our edge. There's no doubt about that.
Well, and what do you think is causing this? I mean, I guess it could be mass democracy where you don't have to work for a living. You can vote yourself a living. And even if you do work for a living, you got to watch out for those folks voting themselves a living. We also got, yesterday, I believe, into the discussion, I was presenting an idea that I think you first introduced this to me, and then Saifedean, who I very much want to interview one day, is this idea that the devaluation and debasement of our money has led to things like shoddy craftsmanship in homes. We were talking to some folks that washing machines used to be all metal parts. They'd last for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And you can go across the board where standards seem to be lowered, pick whatever industry or trade, folks. How is it the debasement of our money being a big factor in this outcome?
Well, it's a fascinating story. It's a hard one to tell because it has a lot of moving parts and it takes place over many, many decades. And that's the job of economists, is to help us understand, to see the unseen things that are happening around us. Now, if you talk to craftsmen, they will tell you when they pull apart a home built in a certain period, let's say, especially turn of the century, well up into maybe the 30s, even 40s in America, they will attest to the quality of the build. How well put together it was, whether it's the electrical work, the plumbing, the carpentry, whatever it is, as opposed to newer prefab homes. You'll also find the sentiment in older appliances. refrigerators used to last decades, and now they don't seem to last nearly that long. So the question is why? Well, I think when the economy becomes more financialized, money and debt take on a whole new dimension. Money begins to lose value more precipitously. And as a result, I think we're all sort of forced into this accelerated timeline where corporations care about the next quarter. They care about the earnings report for their shareholders for the next quarter. They don't care about the reputation of the company, let's say Maytag washers, over the next 50 years. So what happens is when money is not worth as much and when work isn't valued as much in terms of reward, we all tend to get a higher time preference. We want more stuff here and now, and we don't want to wait for it. We don't want to work as hard for it. We don't want to delay gratification, save up money, for example, to buy a car when you can go out and buy that car today with just a little bit of money and make payments. I mean, this goes throughout the entire economy when money starts to become something that the government just issues as a policy rather than something tangible that you go earn that has value apart from government say-so. And since government has a tendency to want to just create a lot of money and use that to win votes for political reasons, that makes money devalue faster, and that has a cascading effect throughout the economy, anything from houses to washing machines. So it's complex. I don't want to overstate my case here, and it's not as black and white as it might sound, but there's definitely been a trend in the second half of the 20th century, now the 21st, for America to just be more impatient and more shoddy as a result.
Yeah, and it's kind of, you end up with a chicken or the egg problem. Like, is it the debasement of our money, or is it the values that led to people debasing money? What's that Keynes letter that was recently unearthed talking about the Bank of England, your masterful manipulation, where they, essentially printed a bunch of money, had people from the bank go and buy war bonds for World War I. And so is it the money itself? I guess it becomes a cycle at a certain point that instead of actually having sound values, you are not just corrupting the money, you're corrupting your very values that are guiding you.
Well, the two are tied together. I mean, the money is really the calling card of a nation. And the Swiss franc, for example, used to be considered the calling card. And Swiss people were very proud of it. It was as good as gold, so to speak. And of course, now the Swiss central bank has fallen under the same kind of spell that our own has. So yes, I think when money is devalued, it has an impact on our morality, our ethical outlook, and vice versa. So that's those are big cultural, even spiritual problems that are beyond my pay grade. But I do think it's important that we recognize the connection here with money.
Yeah, and I'm not going to torture the audience, but if you're the type, folks, go read that Atlas Shrugged money speech. It's still a good one. I think it holds up pretty well. And speaking of calling out kind of the debasement of currency and our money, I don't know if you saw the development with Javier Milei there in Argentina, where he's now been charged criminally, and the prosecutor is saying it's Javier talking bad about the peso that's made the peso fall off a cliff with its value. I mean, should we just not be surprised this is how communists work?
Well, it's clear that they're going to pull out all the stops to prevent this guy from winning the presidential election. Yeah. I think we can say that much. But this has long been a trope in economics. It's pure mythology that we sort of talk ourselves into a recession, or we talk ourselves into a booming economy. In other words, the economy is based on our feelings. And so when we're feeling good, we go out and sign off on that mortgage, or we go out and borrow to buy that car, or we take that vacation. But when we're feeling bad or we're feeling worried, then we don't spend, and as a result, the economy contracts. So this is just absolute nonsense that the economy runs off of our feelings. The economy runs off of incentives and trade-offs, and most of those are created at the fiscal and monetary level. Now, there's certainly things that come along, like COVID, which people have different opinions about, but that's not a fiscal or monetary phenomenon. It's just something that happened, like 9/11. So there are all kinds of things that happen in the world that affect the economy. But for the most part, we can look to what governments and central banks are doing, and we can go back and connect the dots as to why people are feeling a pinch today. Why is that a big package of T-bones at Costco that used to be $60? Why is it now $100? Well, we don't have to work too hard to go back and say in 2000, as a response to COVID, Uncle Sam went absolutely nuts and created about $6 trillion in brand new stimulus money out of thin air. So that's, it's not animal spirits guiding the economy. It's nuts and bolts and mechanics.
Well, and it turns out today, I'm actually wearing a jacket and no hat, but I've got a gold, or it looks like gold, lapel pin. And I didn't realize I'd fit right in at the Belt and Road Forum hosted by China. I'm looking at a video. They're all wearing these gold lapel pins, and it seems like the rising of the world challenging, say, U.S. hegemony around the world, are they going towards gold, you think? I mean, what are we seeing here?
Well, yes, gold is moving from west to east. Most of the physical gold in the world used to be held in London and then later on in the United States, certainly in Germany, and now most of the gold in the world. There's still lots of it held in London and the United States and Germany, but it's moving. It's moving towards Dubai. It's moving towards Abu Dhabi. It's moving towards Russia. It's moving towards China, and it's moving towards India. Now, this is both at the governmental and the private or individual level. More physical gold is being bought in the East, and more physical gold is being sold in the West. And the amount of new gold that's mined and brought into the economy every year is very tiny. It's less than 1% of all outstanding gold. It's hard to mine gold and bring it to market. It's a really time-intensive process. So the question here is whether our governments in the West and our central banks are going to try to taint gold and view it with suspicion because all of a sudden these governments that are not so friendly towards us are talking about having a currency that's actually backed by gold. I think that's a long way off, but sometimes you have to understand these things in terms of centuries, not just decades. And I think that the long-term trend is that the rest of the world realizes that the West is just going to spend like crazy. It's going to spend money it doesn't have. It's going to have, the West is just committed to having debt-based economy. And that at some point you actually have to pay the piper. Debt, people who have run up debts that they can't pay, like Uncle Sam, at some point there has to be a day of reckoning. And so I think that people in the East, and including central banks and governments, are viewing gold as an asset that has value without counterparty risk, unlike a U.S. Treasury bond that can hold. So I think that's the story here, is that gold is moving east, and Western governments will try to demonize it as a result.
Now, before I let you go, I just want to get your sense of what's happening in the world, because we've had a lot of different perspectives on this show. And in particular, I just worry that there are so many Americans who have now been whooped up. I mean, seeing true atrocities can do that to people, get very emotional, that instead of talking about these, how do we get on a sounder economic footing or a sounder just moral footing and look out for our own nation, our own culture, our own heritage here in America with a fervor, it's now people calling for more war, more bloodshed, and larger war. It seems like we're sleepwalking into a third world war. I don't predict we're going there, but you've got to watch out how these things metastasize. When you see this shift we've seen after the attack on Israel and then the response and all leading up to it, just where's your mind at? What do you think about what's going on right now?
Well, whenever there's even the slightest clamor for fiscal discipline, there's some new emergency that causes Congress to say, oh, forget it. We need to spend whatever it takes. And Janet Yellen assures us that we have plenty of money to fight two wars. If you happen to be on the left politically, a progressive, if you go back and look at a couple of wars of choice, you might even say wars of convenience, Iraq and Afghanistan, the amount we spent on those two campaigns could have easily paid for your vaunted, single-payer Canadian-style healthcare system here in the U.S. Could have paid for an enormous amount of Section 8 housing, could have paid for an enormous amount of K through 12 education, could have paid for an enormous amount of food stamps, whatever your particular progressive wish list is. So it's interesting that people don't think in terms of these trade-offs. It's just like, well, there's a war in the Middle East, we need to support Israel, and we need to support Ukraine, and damn the money.
Yeah, and I think there was that Biden quote in the 60 Minutes interview that, I mean, it seemed like the embodiment of hubris. Like, he went beyond, we've just got the money. He's like, of course we could fight all these. We're the greatest nation on earth. We're the indispensable nation. I just seeing that man, too, say that in that slurred way, our dead president almost, it just doesn't inspire confidence. It seems like we are literally inviting nemesis to take us down.
Well, he's implying that we have unlimited resources. And that's just absolutely insanely untrue. And, if we don't stop borrowing, at some point, we're not going to be able to service the interest on our debts anymore at a governmental level. And everybody who wants Social Security or, the aforementioned food stamps, K through 12, education, Medicare, whatever it might be, needs to be concerned about that.
Well, I always appreciate your time, Jeff. Again, folks, have been talking to Jeff Deist. If folks want to follow you, what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so?
Well, just at Jeff Deist, all one word, JEFFDEIST on Twitter is the easiest way.
Well, talk again soon. Hope you have a good rest of the day.
Thanks, Joey. Thanks, Eddie.
See you, man.
Again, that's Jeff Deist. Good to call him a friend. 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the program. Says we can kind of go all around the map with that guy, and I appreciate that about him.
Oh, yeah.
This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. You know James Cole, right?
I know James very well.
He's a great guy. Great
Wonderful
family.
Guy. Great man.
And they've set up a great business.
Yes.
And here's the deal. We can tell you about what Cole Plumbing can do. We've told you about the proprietary pipelining technology. If you have an emergency leak inside or outside your home, they can fix it.
They can, without making a big mess.
But here's the deal. If you go to coleplumbing.com,
yeah,
you can see everything they have to offer.
Oh, yeah.
You're right, though, Eddie. They're not going to have to make a big muddy mess inside or outside, because I almost think the drywall inside that gets wet is worse than mud outside.
You'll find drywall mud 6 months later.
Oh, dude. It's in the carpet or it's stuck somewhere. You're like, how did I not notice that before? Right. What's that goo right there?
Exactly.
Honey,
it's mud.
But if you go to coleplumbing.com, you can see all the services they offer. In particular, they can help you with common problems like a tree root invasion.
Right.
Yeah, maybe you haven't had an issue at all, but you've been in the house for 20 years. Those trees are going to grow up if you have trees around.
You'll notice they'll grow towards your septic tank.
And, of course, they can help you with a basic thing like a clogged drain or low water pressure. But it could be like slab leak repair. That's a serious job.
That's a really big thing. Or you could have a gas leak. They're also the number one. Whenever I have any kind of gas issues in any houses that we're getting ready to put on the market, James Cole is the man I call. He can fix my questions easily. 90% of the time, I can start to explain to him what I got, and he finishes my sentences. He just knows. He's seen it all.
So check him out today. Again, you can always go to coleplumbing.com and book an appointment online, or just call him, 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
More news and views in the afternoon after this quick break.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a famous broadcaster.
Hey man, what's happening?
Now, I understand you radio people move a lot, is that correct?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, how does this affect your taking care of your retirement money?
Oh man, I don't give that a second thought because my buddy David Ernest, he's my money man.
Your money man?
With the money plan.
I see.
So no matter where I go up and down the dial, David has my back, you know?
I'll bet you know some phone numbers our listeners could call to talk with David Ernest.
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
And he has a website at retirewithernest.com.
Hey, you're on top of it today, man.
I also understand that you hold some sort of a record in broadcasting.
Yes. I was the first person to put together a show with myself, a duck, a chicken, and a goose. But it didn't last long. We got taken off the air.
Why were you taken off the air?
Too much foul language, man.
Oh, my.
So I wasn't crazy about that one myself.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Well, breaking news, folks. Breaking news.
Break on.
Jim Jordan ain't dead yet.
What?
The Jordan speaker race ain't dead yet. We all thought it was going to be
we all agreed that we're going to let the little nerd guy take over for a day.
Apparently, the Patrick McHenry plan, the temporary speaker plan, it dead.
What was wrong with that? What was wrong with that? We're going to let the nerd have his little few days while Jim Jordan goes around and collects some support.
Big plot twist here. So here is Jim Jordan. Here's the video that showcases this. Let's listen in together, folks. Breaking news here.
I'll just say this: we made the pitch to members on the resolution as a way to lower the temperature and get back to work. We decided that wasn't where we're going to go. I'm still in for speaker, and I plan to go to the floor and get the votes and win this race.
All right.
But I want to go talk with a few of my colleagues. Particularly, I want to talk with the 20 individuals who voted against me.
22.
So that we can move forward and begin to work for the American people.
Does anyone ever answer those questions that get just screamed?
I know. It's the most. This is why I don't want to be like a pool reporter. I'm not. That's not my temperament.
No.
I just feel like an a-hole. Excuse me.
I'm glad you acknowledge that because
I'm not saying they are. It's part of the job, but it's like I couldn't do that.
No. Right. I don't think I could either.
Now, can I write articles and op-eds that really insult people? Yeah,
certainly.
Certainly. I've certainly got that in me. That's for sure.
You just don't have that wherewithal to go stand in line and go, hey, I got a question.
No, but Jim Jordan kind of looks like a leader there.
Yes.
That's the right tone. Well, so the Jordan speakership is not yet dead.
Good deal.
I like this. Apparently, Kevin McCarthy, though, screamed at Matt Gaetz, and Congressman Bost almost lunged at Gaetz. Another person almost lunged at Matt Gaetz?
Are you kidding me? Is he that punchable?
My goodness. Yeah, per source in the room, McCarthy screamed at Matt Gaetz to sit down when he went to the mics, with the source saying Representative Bost, B-O-S-T, almost lunging at him. Kind of like the time with Mike Rogers here. Goodness gracious. No, and we heard it from Barry Moore, Congressman Moore. We've heard it from Jeff Poore, spent plenty of time up there in D.C., that sadly, a lot of this does come down to ego.
Yes.
And personality.
We're on the playground.
And there are plenty of egos that go around up there in the House of
yeah.
Representatives. So, my goodness, but the Jim Jordan speakership is
Bring it
not
on,
yet
man.
over, folks. Good
That's
news
hysterical.
there. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder again there at Dillon Rings. And
Yes.
we told you about how they're a full-service jewelry shop before. One
They
thing
are.
we left out,
Yeah.
the permanent jewelry option.
I forgot all about that. I still got mine on, wear it every day.
I still got mine on my nightstand.
Yeah, whatever. Mine still looks good. I get complimented on the regular.
It does look good.
It does.
It's
And I'm not a
fetching.
jewelry guy. I don't even wear a wedding ring.
Mm-hmm.
So this on my wrist really stands out. And people always ask me where it came from. I get to tell them the story and how easily it was for Josh to come in here and do it.
And describe it to folks. It's a thin.
It's a very thin,
like silver bracelet.
Silver bracelet. And it's not.
There's no clasp on it. It is
No.
soldered shut on your wrist.
And unlike you guys, mine has stayed on. You know, I thought our friendship was better than that, so I made sure I took really good care of mine, as opposed to some of my other friends. But like I said, when I wear it, everywhere I go, people ask me about it all the time.
Where's that paddle? Hold on. All right, hold on. We're getting back to Dillon Rings in a second. I need this paddle here for protection.
Oh,
the way
okay.
you're talking about our friendship.
Well, I
here.
just, some things are more
This
important than
handle
others.
really is too big to wield this thing effectively. Maybe we need to put some rubber on it.
Or maybe you need some man hands.
But, with the permanent jewelry, folks, it's a great idea for a party. Like,
definitely. Say we're having
wedding
bunko night.
shower, bunko night,
Yes.
baby shower. You can even put little charms on there.
That's what I saw, something that were really cute.
Like get the team together, the girls together. Maybe you're a roly derby gal.
Good idea, too. That's a really good idea, Joe.
It'd be fun.
I like the way you're thinking.
And, of course, there at Dillon Rings, they do custom design. And Josh Ryder's a true artist. He's also kind of a mad scientist. When you go back to his lab,
yeah,
he can do it all back there. But if you can dream it, Josh Ryder can make it a reality. Maybe you're updating an older piece of jewelry.
Yes.
Maybe you're wanting to create something that you literally did just dream up, and Josh Ryder can do it.
He can do it.
And what he'll do first is a digital rendering. And that way you can see, oh, yeah, I like it or I don't like it. And then if you like it, he can actually create that thing to fit on your finger, a ring maybe, or it could be something poignant, or it could be something fun, like a funky fresh medallion. I think
that's a great idea.
I think that's our next move, to get matching.
I'm down.
Like medallion.
I'm down. Maybe we get little paddles.
So, no. Let's check. Goodness, no. Terrible idea. So y'all check out Dillon Rings today. DillonRings.com, or you can always call them at 215-3669. But I really encourage you, stop by, see them in person. 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the afternoon.
Well, if we got little
sent
paddles, you could actually get your hand around it.
I have average size hands.
Just trying to help you out.
I've never said, I made the mistake once that I said I thought I was 6 foot, and you've never let me live it down.
Yeah, because you're 5'11".
Yeah.
With heels on.
I've never, though, said I had big hands. I've never been able to palm a basketball, never claimed to. I have
You
average
can't even
hands.
palm a basketball?
Depends on the basketball. Is it squishy?
I'll let their out.
Yeah, but they're average hands, and they get the job done.
Yeah, they are. Average for an Asian guy.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For many years, my team and I have worked diligently to provide our veterans with top-notch service, as it is our honor to serve those who have served us in the armed forces. Madeline and I are certified veteran lending specialists. Nationwide, there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program, yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA Home Loan Program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Kia of Auburn invites you to come by and experience the all-new electric vehicle, the 2023 Kia KV6. It is gorgeous and as practical as it is cool. Just think of the thousands of dollars you'll save in gas and time you'll save by not going in for oil changes, plus the added benefit to our environment. Kia of Auburn, a proud supporter of Auburn University Athletics. Kia of Auburn, where you are always number one. KiaofAuburn.com.
Exit Realty is growing. Exit Realty focuses on everything it takes to make a real estate office successful and provides opportunity to brokers and agents unlike any other real estate brand.
Training, technology, an opportunity to earn an exceptional income, and even retire and leave a legacy and benefits for your family. Interested in a great real estate career? Text BAMA to 85377 to learn more. That's BAMA to 85377.
Hey, this is Randy with Super Pawn Center on Burbank Drive. When we advertise with Blue Water Broadcasting, we get results. Spend your money where it counts. Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Get ready for some weather changes, but today is a dry day and fairly comfortable. High temperature today in the middle 70s, mostly sunny, then clouds increasing later on in the afternoon and into the evening hours. Scattered showers and thunderstorms by later on tonight and through the overnight hours and early on the day on Friday as a cold front swings through the state. Tonight's low 57. On Friday, partial sunshine by midday, but gradual clearing after that, high 77. And a great weekend ahead with plenty of sunshine Saturday and Sunday, highs in the mid-70s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The MVP on a football field may change on any given Saturday, but the MVP in every other field is a Kubota. John Bobo with Capital Tractor. With the number one selling compact tractor in America, Kubota equipment is a game changer. Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. If you want to get in on the program, be patient. We'll put you on hold.
Be patient.
And before we get to another breaking story, a new study about the vaccines, the COVID vaccines, and myocarditis. Actually, of all people, Dr. Drew sitting down with Megan Kelly. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, they can help you men out, especially those particular needs like ED, PE, also not fun. I'm not talking about physical education. You know what I'm talking about, fellas.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Or it could be you're just lacking energy, lacking motivation, lacking drive.
That happens.
Well, it could be a sign of low T if you're lacking those things, including libido. So what you need to do is go by Montgomery Men's Health. They can help you out. For only $99, you can know your testosterone numbers. At the same time, you also get a PSA score, which is a great marker for prostate.
Very good marker.
And if you do, in fact, have low testosterone, they have treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that truly can change your life. And they have all different types of treatments. It depends on where you are in life. Maybe you want to still have kids. Maybe you're past the kid-bearing age as a dude. You've had enough of them.
Right.
But, you want that edge back. Say you're in your late 50s or 60s. Yeah. And you want that edge back. They have treatments there that can change your life. After these treatments at Montgomery Men's Health, most men experience higher energy, better gains in the gym.
Brother.
That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns. You might even notice an increased libido.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, Joey.
Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. So check them out today That's Montgomery Men's Health. Call them at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. And, well, be sure to tell those fine folks there at Montgomery Men's Health that Joey and Eddie from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. This is a quick clip, is Dr. Drew talking about this with Megyn Kelly, this new study about myocarditis and COVID vaccines.
It's more common than we thought. People are like, well, it's mild, it's no big deal, it's self-limited, blah, blah. Look, in my world, throughout my entire career, 40-year career, myocarditis is a medical emergency. It's a dire problem. A publication just came out 5 days ago in Circulation, a major cardiology journal. An excellent study, and it took my breath away. I didn't know why it wasn't headline news. It's a large study, and it showed that approximately half of the young males that got myocarditis had permanent heart damage. Yep. Permanent. That means that we don't know what percentage are going to be disabled by this as they get older, are going to develop heart failure, or going to need cardiac transplants, some of them. Oh my God. It's breathtaking, this study, and why it wasn't a big headline. I've sort of sent it around a little bit because I don't understand why people aren't reacting to it. So in a 27-year-old male, the illness is a nothing. So the vaccine is all risk. Right. Why the push? Why are we pushing? And I think, put your legal head on for a second, that universities are going to be in big trouble for having mandated young people to get that vaccine. Because people are going to get sick, and they're going to have long-term consequences, and they should sue those schools for having forced them to take a medical intervention.
100% they should sue. And if anybody tries to force you from this point forward, get a fake card. It's not that hard. Go ahead, Google it, get a fake card.
And again,
don't comply.
We have a good treatment. We have Paxlovid. Why? And people have all kinds of feelings.
You have to say you've gotten the shot to get in.
Right.
Get a fake one. Just Google it on the internet. It's bullshit. If they're going to create these bullshit rules, you can create your bullshit way around them. It's all just like a theater. So let's let's act.
I'm like a foul-mouthed lady, but not on my FCC airwaves. Wow. Not today, Megan.
Plus,
don't be saying bull shaving cream on my airwaves, you hot woman.
Where can I get one of these fake cards?
Fireworks on the 4th, especially yelling that. Don't comply. I'm like, what a forest fire. I need to take a cold shower. Let's go to Eric. Hey, Eric.
What up, dog?
Hola.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. Maybe a good thing they're working on that 3D printing of internal organs, huh?
Yeah.
Really?
You know, we can just print them up. We'll make them like it'll be the new monetary system. We'll just print up your organ. You get you a kidney or
well, we reported on
in.
About a year and a half ago, I think, that they did a transplant with a pig heart.
Yeah, I was gonna say what's wrong
and then
with
used
a
little bit of cocaine, and it's like it's a major breakthrough. And then actually that heart they didn't work out.
Didn't work?
No.
Was it the cocaine?
Well, you got to keep the cocaine in it.
Maybe that's it. There's got to be a steady drip.
It's like a Jason Statham movie where you have to keep your heart rate above a certain level, or
Yeah, you got to keep that battery charger on you.
Yeah, that could be too.
Can't be. Eddie, I got an idea.
What you got?
Y'all inspired an idea. You know, you were talking about stretchy pants.
Stretchy pants.
It reminded me of the what is that movie? The cat movie with the Shrek.
Cats?
What was that guy? Puss in Boots.
I thought you were thinking about that awful musical.
I couldn't pick that out of a lineup.
Though Judi Dench did really steal the show.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, read a book.
Nerd talk.
I forget I'm talking a bunch of hayseeds every day.
I mean, Joey, you raised my political IQ, but you don't talk about the arts very much, so I don't.
Yeah, because y'all make fun of me.
Did you go to
Joey,
musicals?
I mean, what else are we supposed to do?
Like, I think that Joey's a secret fruit. It's like, whoa! I just like plays. I like musicals.
I don't remember anybody saying anything about it being a secret.
Well, not right now. Hey!
It's not a secret. Everybody knows.
Dadgummit.
Yeah, I mean, how old are you, a 40-year-old single guy? I mean.
Well, I'll be honest now, I will take Joey's side on this all day long. As a man that was in the market in Montgomery for women at one point in my life, it is slim pickings. It is slim pickings. There are a lot of beautiful women out there, but there are also a lot of daddy issues and other things out there with those beautiful women. Yeah.
The hotter they are, the crazier they are. I mean, the more the more
emotionally intelligent they are. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Is that what you call that?
Yeah, it's emotional intelligence.
Oof.
It's not neurosis.
It's not
bitterness.
Crazies?
Yeah. It's
The
emotional
Nacharosis?
intelligence.
Yeah, maybe I ought to import one. I hear up in Jersey they got some beautiful women.
Sure.
You know, there's a lot of females trying to get here. I mean, you hook them up, get them across the border.
Unfortunately,
Hey,
you're
then
right.
you could get you some of that free money. You know, get you that $2,100 a month.
Now you sound like a government guy.
Well, I mean, it's there. I mean, it's our fault if we don't take advantage of how they're screwing us.
How long till that money runs out, you think?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, they'll still cut the
Amazon
checks,
gonna be
but how
depleted
long
of
till
trees?
there's no money left in that account?
Well, I guess when we start taking wheelbarrows to go buy a loaf of bread,
yep,
you got to have $1,000 to get you a loaf of bread. That's probably about the time, you know, they start breaking out those $500,000 bills, so you can go get a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk.
I hope not, but it could be.
You know, start breaking into Montgomery Zoo so you can get some protein. About then.
Good luck.
I'm sorry. That dog would bite you.
There's a lot of rednecks around that zoo.
Louis Gazard was a genius, and he was correct.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day now.
You too, Eric. Good to talk to you, brother.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Yes.
Yes, you're on there. Who is this?
How you?
Good. Wait, is this?
This is Duke.
Duke? Now, Duke, we don't have a lot of. We don't
I
have.
know we ain't got a lot of time. We ain't got a
Yeah.
lot of time, but I heard them talking about the women folks a while ago to you, and
Yeah.
I told Eddie yesterday I got this hood girl named Moo Moo full of babies. You know, Papa B says you need you to increase the population. So we got
Instant
this
family.
hood girl named Moo Moo full of babies. You can get you a ball team or 2 ball team, however many kids you need.
Is Moo Moo a big gal?
I got a feeling she is.
Huh?
Moo Moo a big gal?
Moo Moo, no, it's got we call her thick.
There we go.
Call it thick.
And with 2 C's, I get it, and there ain't nothing wrong with some
not at all.
layered cake. But
the thing is, we need you to make some babies. So what's up?
I don't know
Joey's
what- I
gonna
don't-
make pretty babies.
Like
There's
we've
no-
had women tell us behind the scenes that y'all need to stop this, bringing up my love life. Because number one, you get 2 reactions. You got some that are trying to play matchmaker with me,
which is hysterical.
and then you got others going, "We don't need to hear about y'all sex lives. You're just gross." So I need you, grown men, to stop it.
Maybe those
About
women are
what?
bitter.
What?
Stop bringing up Moo Moo.
So we
Oh,
should
well,
let
we
you
can
stay continually bachelor and be happy the rest of your life?
Yes.
No, that's not what we're going to do.
Well, Papa B said yesterday that that you need to increase the family population there.
Yeah.
Son. So
Be
we're trying to help you out with a
fruitful
Moo Moo.
and multiply. Yeah.
Right.
And have that natural curly hair from Moo Moo and you and the babies and everything.
We would have good hair.
Yeah.
Joey's got good hair.
And natural curly hair.
Yeah.
Won't have to get in the sun, get no tans in the more. Joey, and
Joey does have a lot of pale
No.
complexion to him, so yeah, that would help.
Well, he kind of dark. Yeah.
He'd make a pretty baby. I'm telling you, Joey's going to make some pretty babies.
Yeah, just imagine my peanut butter complexion babies coming out, Joe, with you
So-
and Moo Moo.
Would it be peanut butter or would it be butterscotch?
Be more of a butterscotch.
Well, Joe,
kind of pale.
butterscotch, more butterscotch, yeah.
Yeah. Well, great call, Duke. Give me. I've got to run.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm running out of time, man.
Love you, Duke.
272-9228. Again, folks, this part of the program brought to you by Sweet Creek Farm Market.
That's right, Joey.
And what we're focusing on here today is the upcoming opening weekend of the Pumpkin Festival.
That's right. Starting this weekend, right?
There at Sweet Creek Farm Market. $10 wristbands, but 2 and under. Kids 2 and under are free. Hay rides will be available. Inflatables like bouncy
Right.
castles. New, smaller children's area. So if you really do have those toddlers as little kids, there's going to be an area
a good
great for
idea.
them, essentially for them. Face painting, not for
Yes.
you, Eddie. It's for the kids. Vendors, food, and the food is always great at Sweet Creek,
Right.
but it's especially great on a Pumpkin Festival weekend. New games with new fun surprises, cakewalks.
Now that's for me.
And all wristbands receive a pumpkin.
That's so cool. Everybody
pretty
gets a door
awesome.
prize. I think that's great.
So y'all got to get by Sweet Creek Farm Market this weekend, the opening of the Pumpkin Festival. And you know what? They're going to do it the weekend after, too. So
2 weekends in a row.
You can take the kids out on Saturday, Sunday morning this weekend, and then go do it again the next weekend if you had a lot of fun with it. And I know you will have a lot of fun with it.
Definitely have some fun.
So y'all check it out today. You can always go to Sweet Creek Farm Market on the Book of Faces, see all the details for yourself. But when you stop by the Pumpkin Festival, be sure to tell them, well, you heard about it here on News and Views in the afternoon. More News and Views, well, after this very quick break.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Need a place to store your RV or boat? Black Sheep Storage on Comps Ford Road behind Cat House Marine in Millbrook is the place to call. They have all the convenience and security you can ask for. 24-hour access, video surveillance, drive-up access, and you can even book and pay online. They are committed to offering you top-notch customer service for all your needs. Visit them at blacksheepboatrvstorage.com or call 334-659-6590. That's Black Sheep Storage, Cops Ford Road, Millbrook.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. If you're wondering who this bobblehead is across from me, that's Eddie Bader.
That's me.
You're a good friend.
I have my moments. The
moments is the way to put it.
The best thing you can always know is when you need me, I'm there.
Oh, we got all serious here.
No, I'm just telling you. That's
no,
just
and it's
me.
true about
That's
you.
me.
That's why I appreciate you, man.
As much as I joke around,
And
about
vice
everything.
versa, by the way.
Yeah. When you need
Oh,
me,
you're
I'm right
so
there.
proud. You're like, I don't know.
That's me.
Yeah. I don't need any help. I'll help you. I don't need anything. I'm a
That's-
man.
that's me, baby.
I'm from. You know how I grew up.
How it got.
Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville
Ray.
Carpet. Hey, Ray.
How are y'all doing today?
We're doing great, man.
Did you get any chance to hold the baby today?
No. I told Angie after the last 2 weeks of having grandkids, I'm not the best grandparent in the world. I'll own it. I said, look, I don't want to see a kid in the house for at least 3 weeks.
You're honest. That's a great thing.
I love them. No, I don't have the patience for it. I'm not a good grandparent. Maybe as they get older and they can play ball and stuff like that and go fishing and hunting.
Sure,
it'll get better.
sure.
But toddlers, no. And they know because they cling to Angie like crazy. They don't want anything to do with me.
Yeah. Right now, you're still the scary adult.
That's right. That's right. And Angie's like, well, what are you going to do when they get older? I said, I'll spoil them and get them back.
Yep.
It's not a big deal.
It's not hard. You know how that works, Ray. That ain't hard at all.
Yeah, it ain't hard. I'm not worried about it. I'll be the favorite granddaddy when it's all over with.
Well, before we run out
right
of
now, I need a quiet house.
That's right.
Before we run out of time here, tell folks about these sales they need to lock in during October.
Guys, honestly, it's the time to call us. I got Bart, my invisible friend that won't talk on the radio, in the car with me.
Yeah.
We're over in Emerald Mountain measuring one, heading back to Prattville now. If you can hear us, we will come to you free of charge. Measure your floor, and it will save you a lot of money in the next month and a half. But after that, I can't get the sale prices anymore. It happens all the time. December, they call me, and I said, no, they won't honor the price again.
So y'all lock it in, and that number's still 285-8117?
That's it. We'll call us. We'll come over and give you that free measurement.
And be sure to tell them when you call 285-8117 there at Prattville Carpet that you heard Ray Bowles here on the radio with Joey and Eddie. Appreciate it, Ray.
Guys, y'all have a great day.
You too, Ray. See you, brother.
I think he's going to be a great grandpa.
You know he
that
is.
attitude.
He's already
I think,
got it figured out, though, man.
Exactly. You know, and I think in particular as a man, as you get older, you have a right to honesty.
Oh, yeah. But sometimes, Joey, when you get older, you can be too honest.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, before we say anything too honest, let's get out of here. Happy Hour with Greg Budell. Well, he's next.